For your patience, apologies for the delay. It's 6:20. We're calling the meeting to order. This is Manhattan Community Board One's full board meeting. My name is Tammy Meltzer, Chair. With our agenda as noted, we start with our public session. It's 1 to 2 minutes per speaker, and we have about 7 people signed up to speak. So let's get started with, let's see. We're gonna go with Rob Harper, who signed up. Rob, welcome. Please introduce yourself, come to the table so the cameras can get you. And a reminder for anybody who's sitting on the sides, the owls are very sensitive. If you're talking, it lives on YouTube forever, no matter how you think you're whispering. Okay? With that, Rob, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here this evening. My name is Rob Harper. I am the co-president of LMC, Lower Manhattan Community School. And I am here to represent our interests, the interests of the school, the students, as well as SALT. We learned a couple of weeks ago, that they are planning on putting an AI school in the building that we're in. We object to that because we would like for LMC, which is currently 6 through 8, to become a high school. Right now, the process is that after 8th grade, you matriculate, you have to apply for high school. You have to go through a scanning process. I'm from a small state, small town from Arkansas. I'm used to just going from one school to the next. When I came here and realized that there is a process that you have to go through, you have to fill out an application, you have to look at the school, there's a possibility that you won't get accepted. I was horrified. Needless to say, my son who's there, CJ, who's in the 7th grade, managed to get him into LMC. It is a great school. I think that if more parents had the opportunity for their kids to come to LOC and then matriculate to a high school without having to apply, I think they would do it. A lot of people are for AI schools. That's good. We just want our school, our community at LMC to become a high school so that the kids can go from 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade onto high school in the same community. It is a great school. It is a diverse school. We love the community. So if we're able to get that to happen, we'd be happy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rob. Do you know if Michael Walsh is also speaking this evening?
He is online,
Right?
and he said that he would be speaking. So if he's there, if he's.
Okay, let's take a look and find Mr. Walsh.
Yes.
Mr. Walsh, you're going to get a request to unmute. And you would be next. There you
Okay,
go.
I'm unmuted. Hello. Thank you. I am Rob. Hi, my name is Michael Walsh. I am, along with Rob, I am also the co-PTA president of LMC. And I think following in Rob's footsteps, he kind of covered a lot of it. We're here today. Thank you to the Youth and Education Committee for their work on this and bringing it to the entire board. So we just want to say thank you to them and for all of you for taking the time to look at this resolution. And I hope that we can have your support, and we're happy to be here tonight, and thank you for all your support.
Done.
Oh, sorry, I could have talked longer if I had watched your chewing. I'm sorry about that.
Nope, you're good. You're good. Thank you so much. We multitask around the community board. That's the way we roll. All righty. We can take a break from our public session if Assemblymember Bracely is ready, because I did notice she's joined us online, and I know that there are multiple full boards tonight, us and CB3. I just need to check. Grace, are you in transit or ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Ready from Albany. How are you, everyone? Great to see
Good,
everyone
well done.
online. All right. So as you can see, I'm in Albany right now, but wanted to just give you a few updates as we are currently negotiating the budget right now. And wanted to give you some legislative updates as well. One of my priority bills that I introduced is the ICE Contract Transparency Act. And it was inspired by what we learned about at Pier 40, where private organizations are engaging in contracts with ICE without the transparency and the understanding of our communities to know that this is happening. We're also seeing this up in upstate New York, where ICE is contracting and leasing out warehouses from private companies to turn them into future detention centers. This is something that we need to be aware of. So this bill would require all private organizations that enter into agreements with ICE to report them to the Department of State. It would also penalize any companies that do not provide this transparency to the Department of State by fining them up to $5,000 or being disqualified from receiving state grants and state contracts. So we are currently negotiating a package of immigration bills. This is on the table to be something that we may pass to provide more transparency. We're also fighting for a bill in New York for All, which would prohibit coordination between local law enforcement and ICE, as well as a bill to prohibit ICE agents from wearing masks and to require them to have fully displayed identification at all times. So this is all to make sure that we can keep New Yorkers safe. So in terms of the budget negotiations in Albany, we have presented our one house last week, and a couple of the highlights really focused on affordability. We have utility rebate checks of up to $500 that we'll be sending to millions of households across New York State to help offset some of the higher increases in energy prices that people have been experiencing. We're going to have a historic expansion of childcare all across New York State, and particularly in New York City. We'll have 2Care and funding universal 3K in New York City. We are putting $175 million in the budget for immigrant social and legal services, as well as some environmental stuff, $900 million for clean water infrastructure. Right now, Senator Kavanaugh and I have a bill to limit the amount of PFAS that can be allowed in drinking water across New York State. And this money would help to fund municipalities be able to keep their water clean. The Trump administration has rolled back a lot of the environmental regulations that would limit PFAS. So this bill would help us to get back to the scientific standards of safe levels of PFAS in drinking water. So this is all in negotiation still, but some of the highlights of what we have been fighting for in the Assembly. One other thing that has been a fight that I have been, part of for the last several years, I wanted to give you an update. I have been working with sexual abuse survivors of a former OBGYN at Columbia University, Robert Haddon. And these women have been silenced. They have been ignored. They have been intimidated by Columbia University after coming forward. And I have been working with other legislators to pressure Columbia University to make sure that they are doing everything they can to provide transparency to survivors so that the survivors can seek justice against the university. That fight continues today. They recently released an internal investigation, a report on internal investigation around the sexual abuse and how it could have happened for decades without anyone in the administration knowing. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. So I'm continuing to fight to make sure that the survivors get the justice that they deserve, and New York gets the transparency they deserve in terms of making sure that universities like Columbia are not taking advantage of patients who are coming in when they are seeking care at one of the preeminent hospitals in New York City. And then a few updates and on the constituent services side. We received a complaint about the Wall Street Dog Park recently being unclean. So my office contacted the Parks Department, who sent a team to clean it within 2 days, and they are now regularly monitoring the park. If this is a park that you use with your dog, feel free to reach out to our office if you see any conditions that are unacceptable to you. After we heard of garbage and abandoned bikes at the Pearl Street playground, my office worked with the sanitation department to clean up the area for families to use the park. And recently, a Cantonese-speaking constituent reached out to our office because they had not received their inflation rebate check. And within a week, we had connected the constituent with the New York State Tax Services and a translator to help them ensure the mistake was fixed and the constituent could get their refund. I also want to thank parents from LMC PTA for joining today and to expressing their concern about the new tech school that could be coming into the building. to share with LMC. I just want to let you all know that my office has been present at the recent PTA meetings, and we are carefully monitoring that situation. I also brought it up with our chancellor today in Albany while he was visiting with legislators, and we are continuing those conversations, and we'll keep the community updated on anything we hear from that end. Are there any questions?
Awesome. We'll go around the room first. Give me a second. I do have several hands up. Remember, because we cannot take our minutes by AI. That's why we have fabulous secretaries. But they can enhance what we do, but you please, 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 in order to have the coordination work seamlessly, so Brendan doesn't have to say, hey, and remind you, before you speak, if you're not identified specifically by name as the chair, from the chair, say your name and your comment. So we're going around the room. Jeff.
So I have to say my name?
Yep.
Jess. Hi, Assembly Member. I was wondering if you could just give us, if you have any new information on what's going on with Five World Trade.
Okay, great. I'm glad you asked that question because I forgot to mention that as well. I actually just got off the phone with Intergov at Port Authority. So what they have told me is that, I'm just going to look at my notes here up here, so I'm sorry if I'm not looking at the camera. They're still fully committed to having a tower built at that site, residential with affordable of at least 1/3. They don't have a timeline as to when the project can get built, and that was more of what he had attempted to communicate in the community board meeting, but seems to have done so not as well as he should have, because the developer hasn't decided, hasn't figured out when it can start building yet. So it's not there. There remains a commitment to the affordable housing mix in that building, but the developer, given the high interest rates right now and the high cost of materials, obviously are the geopolitical environment is not favorable to affordable construction right now. They are saying that it's uncertain when they can start construction. But just so all of you know, the state committed a lot of funding to ensure that 1/3 of that development could be affordable, and none of that money has gone away. It's more about the developer having, getting the interest rates and the financing to make the whole development work overall. I told, Port Authority that if they need support from state legislators to help, encourage even a sweetening of the deal on the state end, so we can move the development, get the construction going faster, that we should have that conversation and I'd be more than open to helping to facilitate with the governor's office and others.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe.
Yeah.
Straight along the line. Eric?
Hi, Grace. What's your stance on tier 6 pensioners? Would you support having tier 6 members have the same benefits as the tier 4 members?
Yes, I'm fully in support. There are a couple things about tier 6 relative to tier 4 that the labor unions are really pushing in the budget to fix. One is bringing the percent of contribution down to 3% from 3. I think it's like 3 to 6% right now. So bringing that to 3%, and also lowering the amount of time that it would take to earn your full pension. So those two things are part of the conversation right now that we're having in the budget. And thank you for advocacy. I saw your tweet.
Okay.
But yes, we are
Moving along.
fighting for that as well in the budget.
Okay, anybody else in the room with hands up? Seeing and hearing none, looking online. Is there anybody who has a, Justine Kucha? You're next.
Thanks so much. Oh, sorry. I'll be quick. Grace, first of all, thank you for everything you're doing. And I just want to hear it again, I suppose, briefly about 5 World Trade Center, that they really are committed to 1/3 affordable housing in 5 World Trade Center.
Yes, they are fully committed to the 1/3, to the 1/3 housing at least. That's what they
At
said,
least.
at least 1/3. And that, I mean, regardless of whether the developer can get the site built or, they can start the construction or not, the state put in a lot of funding to ensure that a third of it would be, um, affordable.
Affordable, yeah.
And none of that has changed. They got I think they got a little bit of a better deal on the site leasing. We
Mm-hmm.
put money in, that's
I mean,
all
the
there.
Battery Park City Authority threw in $5 million,
Correct.
and that's still
Correct.
there, sitting there, waiting
And
to be
that's still
tapped.
there. That's right.
All
That's
right.
right. And I
Thank
think
you.
this is more about the macro issues right now that are making it harder to build.
Yeah, I mean, faster is better, but yes, I get it. Thank you so
That's what I
much.
said. That's what I said. So if there's anything we can do on the state side to move that more quickly for them, that we should do that.
Justine, thank you so much. Moving on in the room. Yep.
Hi, Assemblymember Lee. I had a question, actually,
You need
just
to say your
following
name.
up. Oh, Rosa Chang, I had a follow-up question on that. Obviously, the cost of construction goes up with time, so if this project is delayed for 5 years or 10 years, the value of the state input is going to get us less units, affordable units. I'm wondering, is there an option if there are other projects that are going to be in our neighborhood, but that move forward faster? Is there any ability to actually make sure that those dollars get put to work like sooner rather than later? Or are they tied specifically to the site? And therefore, if the project starts in 10 years, then it's going to be an effective value of significantly reduced. So that's question number one. Question number two is we have been reviewing a lot of the resiliency projects. And as you know, in our area, there's FIDI Seaport Resiliency, which has no real funding commitment to get to a complete design, which is incredibly frustrating for our community because we would like to engage in that design conversation and be ready for whenever federal funding is going to happen for our neighborhood to start that work in construction. Is the state able to find funding to enable us to get to design completion on FIDI Seaport? And that was it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So I honestly don't know if the funding is fungible. I know, so I would have to look into that further, but I would think that most of that money would not be something that we could just transfer to another site. In my opinion, I think we should just try and accelerate that. We should put more money in. I mean, I don't have the choice, but if I was going to do it, I would try and get more money to that site now to move it along faster. Because it's not just about the money; it's about people having homes and making sure that we're producing housing quickly. So this is all new. This happened last week. So I think that there are more conversations that need to be had around it. But I'm in conversation with Port Authority to figure out what the situation is. I haven't spoken to the developer yet, so but we can find that out. But certainly, these are going to be issues. The issues that the developer is facing are ones that any development is going to face right now, right? It's for financing, interest rates are high and material costs are high. Those are things that are not independent of this one specific site. This is going to be the experience of any developer right now trying to develop in the state or in the city, across the country, frankly. So, but yeah, I think, in my opinion, prioritizing and trying to get these programs online as fast as possible is definitely something that I think is important. And regarding the Seaport Resiliency, I'm happy to work with the community on working on getting funding to make sure that we can move that along as well. And see, I'm assuming that there's probably a federal component to that and a city component to the funding. So just trying to figure out what that is. And I'll have my team, touch base with you offline to figure out what we need there. And good time to put in the request because the budget's still getting negotiated. No promises, but this is the time to do it.
Okay, thank you very much, Grace.
Great.
Seeing no other hands. Uh, Matt, you look out because Grace is speaking during the public session, so I'll recognize Matt Fenton, where normally we don't have. Go ahead, Matt.
Thank you, and sorry to ask you to bend the rules. Grace, a question about 5 World Trade Center. The appalling disparity between the Amex site and 5 World Trade Center, because on Amex, they want to break ground yesterday. Clearly, this is a very lucrative deal for them, and they are foot dragging and slow dancing 5 World Trade Center. Although you couldn't accomplish this all by yourself, would you be willing to try and put together a coalition or a consensus to say, you can build the Amex site the day after you break ground on 5 World Trade Center? Or how about you don't get to break ground on Amex until the day after 5 World Trade Center opens? Because if there's anything that would motivate these people to get off their backsides and start moving, that would be it. Thank you.
Bravo.
That's a great idea.
Yep.
You're good doing it, yeah.
I will bring that back. I will definitely bring that back and open to any and all suggestions for negotiating to make sure that the site gets built as quickly as possible. So thank you for that.
And just so you know, in the room, there was a lot of smiles and sounding like support for that kind of a dialogue, so.
Okay,
All
great.
right, with seeing no other hands in the room, seeing no other hands online for you, Grace, thank you very much.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. I'm sure you're probably off to 3 from here, CD3, and they're having full board, so tell them we said hello.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right.
Bye.
Thank you, Grace. Joe, who had his hand raised online, is one of our attendees. He would be the next person to go. I don't know. We're gonna have Joe introduce himself when he gets that.
Hi, folks. Can folks hear me?
Yes, we can. Please state your full name for the record.
Joe McGee, M-A-G-E-E.
Thank you, Joe. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Very interesting to hear all this discussion and to join. I appreciate all the work that everyone's doing. I just wanted to return to the issue of LMC that Rob so eloquently spoke about. I just wanted to make a couple additional points on it. One is that the principal of that school, Miss Shanna Douglas, is an extraordinary person. It's hard to find extraordinary principals. When you have them, you really want to consider scaling up what they do. She creates an amazing culture of support, rigorous academics, student-directed arts. It's hard to find that in all the schools. She's got it in a bottle for grades 6 through 8. If you have an opportunity to go 6 through 12 with it, the kids are going to be in great hands. That's in addition, I think, to Rob's point about for parents who deal with this lottery system, having the option to only go through that once, heading into 6th grade and then continue on into 12th is great as well. I also want to make I would say a stronger point against the school that we learned was planned to go in there, the school that's sort of sometimes described as an AI school, sometimes a tech school, depending on which week and month we're talking about. I would just encourage everyone to check out John Haidt's recent work on ed tech or technology and education. John Haidt is the author of The Anxious Generation, a colleague of mine. He's really learning through the work of many other people that the tech that's sort of planned there right now, if you put kids in a school, they're going to learn something. And if you give them tech, they're going to learn something as well. But there's no evidence that technology and education actually enhances learning. And there's pretty good evidence at this point that it's destructive. LMC does kind of the opposite of that approach. I would expand that with Richard Green High School. I wouldn't bring an ed tech laden school into that building to share space with LMC and Richard Green. I think it would be a huge, huge mistake. That's it. Thanks for giving me some time.
Thank you so very much. We're gonna move on. We do have several people who actually signed up to speak, so we're gonna try and get through them, and some are on this same topic. Mia Barth in the room. Welcome, stand and come speak.
Hello everyone, my name is Mia Barth and I'm a student at NYU. And I'm here representing David Sifrit's campaign. I'm also here to reiterate the opposition against this AI high school. So David is a civil rights lawyer who has spent years working on the intersection of tech and civil rights through both impact litigation and legislative advocacy. He has hoped to attend tonight, but due to a prior commitment, I'm here to share their message regarding the Youth and Education Committee's resolution on the proposed AI school. So first, they would like to thank you all for your engagement on this issue. But while AI may offer certain opportunities, it also presents serious risks. And those include threats to privacy, racial and gender biases, and labor disruption. Frankly, it's really unclear what an AI school is, and that lack of clarity itself is concerning. There's also no clear justification for co-locating the proposed school within the Lower Manhattan Community Middle School. So doing so would just strain an already limited space and negatively impact the learning environment for current students. So on behalf of David Sifford's campaign, but also the university community at NYU, we strongly support the Youth and Education Committee's resolution to oppose the co-location and urge the full community board to vote in favor of this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming, and fantastic. We love when students come and speak. All right, Ann Hager.
Even though I used to be on community board too, and I should be used to this, I'm gonna read because I feel like I get all of my points out. Hi, my name is Ann Hager, and I'm the parent of 3 NYC public school students, 2 of which attend schools within Community Board 1's district. One of those children attends Lower Manhattan Community Middle School, and another graduated from LMC last year. I'm coming to speak in opposition to the DOE's proposed opening of Next Gen High School to be co-located with LMC. The proposal for this new AI high school has had little to no real community engagement. Almost uniformly, the public reaction to that limited engagement has ranged from skeptical to outright oppositional. Having failed to engage with LMC, those proposing the school were unaware of the harms that it would do to our school, not to mention preventing the long-time wish for LMC to expand to a 6 to 12 school. There are already unfilled seats at local STEM programs within blocks of LMC. Urban Assembly Makers Academy, a STEM program on Pearl Street, had unfilled seats this past year. The High School for Fashion Industries has a software development program that filled only half its seats. There's been zero data presented to indicate that this school is wanted or needed in this location. And in fact, a petition we created in opposition to the proposal and in support of the expansion of LMC has over 1,300 signatures and counting. The vast majority of those signatures are not LMC families. It's a small school. Parents want another established and respected 6 to 12 school, not some gimmicky experimental AI school.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming and speaking. I'm gonna go for the next, because it's about the same topic. Gavin Healy, Meredith Badgers, I apologize if I've brutalized that, and Maura Griffin. So is anybody in the room? Okay, let's see who's online. If you are online, please raise your hand. Vanita Walker, you are next. V. Yep. Vanita, Maura, and Gavin. Vanita, yeah, I did too. Okay, so let's go with Maura and Gavin.
Hello.
Hi, Maura, welcome. State your name for the record.
Hi, thank you. My name is Maura Griffin. I am both a parent at Lower Manhattan Community Middle School. I have currently 2 6th graders there. I have twins. I'm also a staff member at LMC, to be perfectly transparent with everybody. And I'm mentioning transparency specifically because I'm one of the people who was taken completely by surprise when I tuned into the CEC meeting a few weeks ago and heard the Superintendent Beitelman and other people who were working with him to develop the high school about how they had done a lot of community engagement. Up until that point, they had in fact only had 1 meeting with our school SLT. I was shocked. In an age of accountability, it felt like there was absolutely none that was being had by them. As I listened more at the CEC meeting, I was also surprised by how frequently it was mentioned that this was going to be an issue of equity, that they were going to be creating a school where more people could join. As they spoke, it actually was very confusing about what they were saying because they also identified that their first year of enrollment wouldn't have the screen that would be necessary to participate in their education, but then they would be having one. As a long-term member of New York City Department of Education, I both grew up in New York City and went to PS3 on Hudson Street. I went to IS-70 on 17th Street, and I went to John Dewey High School in Brooklyn. As a public school person, what they are proposing, I do not feel aligns with the current goals of creating greater equity across our city. My sons are actually District 13 students because last year they lifted the screen that allowed people to only apply to middle schools within their district. My sons were able to choose a school that is actually significantly closer to our home, even though it's across the river. They were able to go to a school that has deep arts enrichments throughout it, which are things that my kids, not like super academic superstars, these are places where they thrive. I strongly recommend that this committee take quite seriously the need to have a school that is more like a 6 through 12. Yeah, a 6 through 12 school. I just think about transitions. One of my twins had a great transition. One of my twins did not. There are many students in New York City who would benefit from being able to stay within the same system for 6th through 12th grade. Thank you so much for this time. I truly appreciate it.
I appreciate it. We love when educators come. We used to have board members who were teachers, so thanks very much for joining us. Gavin, you're next.
Good evening, can you hear me?
Yes, please state your name for the record.
Yes, my name is Gavin Healy. I'm a member of the District 2 Community Education Council. I just want to reiterate some of the things that some of the LMC parents and PTA members have said about this proposal. We found out about the proposal to co-locate the Next Gen High School like very, very late in the process, just last month. Right before our February Community Education Council meeting, the last week of February. We have consistently since then asked for more information about the proposal, about the demand for it, and we've been kind of stonewalled about that. I think I personally want to say I oppose the proposal to co-locate the Next Generation High School at 26 Broadway, and I support expanding Lower Manhattan Community Middle School to a 6 to 12. The 6 to 12 model is extremely popular in our district and throughout the city. As other people have indicated, it relieves stress, it gives consistency, not just to parents and students, but also to the educators and everyone involved. And in this case, at Lower Manhattan Community Middle School, we have a principal, Shannon Douglas, with a 100% parent trust rating according to the school survey, and that's extremely rare. And I just think it makes a lot of sense to go with a tried and true model rather than to kind of roll the dice on sort of a gimmicky tech-related school in that space. So thank you very much.
Okay. I think that's pretty much said it all. I think that's it. Vanita Walker, you had signed up. Your hand was up. Do you have anything that you'd like to add? Okay. Meredith Haven, sorry. I think that's it for everybody that I have who has signed up to wish to speak, who is not an elected representative. One sec. And we have a couple of people, just so that for board clarity, for people who signed in about LMC, who said they only are prepared to provide written testimony, so we will have some of that as well, that we will attach and keep on board. And with that, I see nothing else for the public session. Is there anybody in the room who signed up who is not online, who I have not seen? And you are? Catherine, did you sign in? I did. Okay, go for it. Technology is not always perfect, so please stand, welcome yourself right next to the gentleman over there and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Catherine Savage. I'm a parent of a child that goes to Lower Manhattan Community Middle School. Our school is proven and a respected school. It provides incredible arts programming, rigorous academics, and special education services that meet the needs of all of our students. We serve a diverse population of students, and it is a rare example of a school that reflects the diversity of our larger Manhattan community. I don't want more screened AI/tech schools. I want LMC to expand from 6 to 8 to 8 to 12 to 6 to 12. We need more 6 to 12 options in the city, given the pressure of ninth grade admissions processes and the better academic outcomes it proves to give. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. All righty. It's a tough thing coming and speaking in front of a group of people if you're not used to it. I really appreciate everybody who comes from the public. It's how we improve our goals, so thank you for coming. With that, we're going to close the public session at 6:55. We had a public hearing about the mayor's preliminary budget. I will say Zach will review in his notes what our response to preliminary budget is. If you have not, I had no one sign up for the budget, but I certainly do think that we could take the LMC one as part of the budget conversation. And if you didn't see the borough president's borough board meeting about budget, I highly suggest you do. If you want a copy of it, we'll provide them from the office. All right, so opening and closing the public hearing. With that done, let's hit the business of the board. Everybody ready? All right, adoption of the February minutes. First roll call of the night. Sorry. And then we'll do updates from the elected.
What do you want to be when you grow up? Every answer, doctor.
I know what I want to be when I grow up.
Down. Okay, here we go. Amoruso? Yes. Arden? Blank?
Blank, yes.
Brown Kennedy? Cameron?
Cameron, yes.
Cassell? Chang?
Chang, yes.
Chapman?
Chapman, yes.
Sarkoudian? O?
Oh, yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Corman?
Woman, yes.
Fuchsia?
Kuchia, yes.
Curtis?
Curtis, yes.
Dimick?
Dimick, yes.
Flores?
Flores, yes.
Friedman?
Friedman, yes.
Roman?
Roman, yes.
Galloway?
Galloway, yes.
Goldstein? Goodkind? Hernandez? James?
James, yes.
Joyce? Kay? Cannell? Capel?
Capel, yes.
Lerner?
Lerner, yes.
Lewinson? Lyon?
Lyon, yes.
Meltzer?
Meltzer, yes.
Mensley?
Mensley, yes.
Moore?
Moore, yes.
Panya? Porshakori?
yes.
Anya's out for the night.
Rios? Robinson?
Robinson, yes.
Scott? Shear?
Sure, yes.
Star? Thompson, yes. Townley?
Townley, yes.
You?
Eric, you, yes.
Zelter?
Zelter, yes.
And could you add Goldstein, yes?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So minutes approved, we start the business session. For those of you who are here from the public, we do not recognize the public to speak during the business session unless you're needed to be called upon as a member of an applicant's team or something of incredible knowledge, but you're welcome to stay and please enjoy. We love, even if it's commentary on the side, we're good. All right, so with that, we're gonna go to Dan. Dan, you'll be our first up tonight. Dan Byers from Senator Kavanaugh's office, please come to the front. You don't have to be here, you can be anywhere, pick a chair, whatever makes you happy.
Take the next chair.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Okay. Hey, everybody. No, from Senator Kavanaugh, sorry.
I don't think there's anybody here from Goldman's office.
Okay. Okay, so I'll keep it brief. Our office had an office hours, constituent intake session at Land's End 2 on the Lower East Side, on March 11th, and we took in dozens of constituents and worked on their cases. We have another office hours where we're gonna do the same thing at University Settlement at 184 Eldridge Street tomorrow, from 3 to 6. And then we're gonna do a tax prep event, with Nazareth Housing on April 2nd, and I can send Zach and Tammy the flyer, as well as a mobile legal clinic, with NILAG, the New York Legal Assistance Group, has a van where they do intake. And it's gonna be in front of the Manny Cantor Center on April 17th from 10 to 3. And people can call our office to make appointments. I can also send the flyer with details about what NILAG, the intake that they do. For legislative updates, as the Assembly member mentioned, the one House budget, the one House was voted on, and passed in it, and, Brian is up in Albany right now and will be, until that comes to, until they have a deal. And I also wanted to just mention that the Housing Access Voucher Program officially launched this month. This program provides housing vouchers to New Yorkers who are homeless or facing imminent loss of their housing. Over 125 vouchers have already been issued, and we're advocating for $250 million in the state budget to fully fund this program. And I'll leave it there.
That's it?
That's it.
State
how many vouchers for? Over 125 so far. That's.
Curious, can you give an example of the types of
Tammy, you're gonna
cases?
let questions happen or no? Sorry.
I will, sorry, Andrew jumped in right quickly because I was like.
All right, Andrew Zelter, quick question, if you can just share an example or two of the types of cases you handled during the open houses?
Oh, for constituent cases?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So a lot of times people come in who are having trouble getting in touch with a government agency, and we help them do that. But it really spans the gamut. Apartment repairs, help getting housing vouchers, help getting food stamps, that kind of thing. So really it is very broad.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Justine, we're gonna go next because you're online and then I'll go in the room. Go ahead,
Thanks.
Justine.
Thanks so much. Hey, Dan, how are you?
Good.
Sorry we missed up the call that was scheduled for yesterday afternoon. That was like on all of us. But I appreciate the fact that I got a little, I don't know, what do you call it, a blurb email saying that Senator Kavanaugh was able to introduce the bill again for housing affordability for those folks in Battery Park City who own their condos but make less than, I believe it's 150 of AMI. So I'm really grateful and I want to say thank you. You didn't mention that because I know it's a small portion of your constituents, but it's a very grateful portion of your constituents. So thank you.
Yes, of course, and looking forward to meeting.
Yes, yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Eric,
Hi.
you had your hand up?
Yes, hi. Where does Senator Kavanaugh stand on tier 6 pension parity with tier 4? And is there anything he can do?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I'll ask him and get back to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So you're familiar with all the issues with?
Yeah.
Okay, somebody was almost done? No, okay. Rosa, you're next.
Hi,
Hi,
Rosa.
how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. So actually the same question that I had for Assemblymember Lee, which is funding for FIDIC Port Resiliency. Obviously, federal funding is not on the immediate horizon, but eventually will be, and it would be awesome if we actually had a design package ready to go.
Mhm.
Hopefully in time for new administration to fund the project, so we can get a step ahead in terms of not flooding in our community. I'm wondering if there's any funding possible to continue the design from the from the
From the
state
state
side.
level?
Yes.
I think that we've talked about this before, and I mean, I did reach out to the EDC, the environment, so, but I don't have like a full answer on this right now, but I can,
Okay.
sorry, I can follow up with you.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else in the room with hands up? I feel like I'm like seeing shadow hands. All right, anybody else online? Hearing and seeing no questions for Dan, thank you very much. Moving along. Do you need to go or you want to say?
I can say two quick things.
Okay, come on up, sit down, introduce yourself and go.
Okay.
Because I think right after that, we're gonna go to Andrew Chang and then Max, if Max is here from Marquet's office.
Max is online.
Max is online, fantastic, and then we'll go to Peter. Oh, no, Tracy Jackson's here too.
No, it is.
So sorry, I got everybody. Apologies, go for
I
it.
didn't notice.
Okay, hello everyone, my name is Hayden Ryan, I'm Assembly Member Grace Lee's office. The Assembly Member covered most of it, so I'm just gonna quickly add on that she'll attend the No Kings Day protest. That is this Saturday, the 28th. Attendance is looking very good across the country and in Manhattan, so we're really excited for that. Additionally, she and Assembly Member Jordan Wright met with the UAW members from Columbia University to discuss expanding investment in the biotech industry to ensure New York continues to push scientific boundaries, advance public health, and create stable jobs at a time when the federal government is divesting from investments in science. Those are all the things I had to add to her comments. I could take any questions back to our team if you like.
Okay, seeing and hearing none inside or online.
Wait, my hand's raised. Sorry, I'm quick. Justine. May I?
Justine?
Thank you. So
Did-
sorry. So I didn't want to pester Grace with this because I know she was running off to the next meeting, but I want to remind you and her about the Battery Park City bill for the condo owners that just did get introduced again in the Senate and has never gotten out of committee in the Assembly. And to be fair to Grace, I know Battery Park City is not her district as an Assembly person. I don't know if anyone from Falls office is here, Charles Falls office, who is our Assembly member. But I really would love her support. We would all in Battery Park City who are support for this bill. We'd love it to get out of committee and have a vote in the Assembly. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll send her a message.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Tracy Jackson, you're next. Just keep it with our state electeds. Tracy, you're next.
Thank you.
Great. Hi, everyone. Thank you. I'm both on my computer and my phone because WebEx is weird for me. So I hope you can hear me okay. As Assembly member, we said, state budget work is happening. One area of focus for Deborah has been, you may have seen the governor's proposal to roll back some of the CLCPA goals, the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, which we passed in 2019. Deborah doesn't have a close role in the negotiations, but she has been making some statements and advising that, first of all, we haven't seen any specific bill language yet, so we don't have a detailed response other than Deborah does not believe that we should have any changes to our climate goals in the budget. It should be a standalone discussion. And she generally could see a path to changing the deadlines toward meeting our climate goals, given the challenges brought on by the pandemic and cuts to federal funding. However, she is strongly opposed to changing the way New York State measures our climate goals. That's a little more complicated than can fit in 2 minutes. So if anyone has specific questions, I'd be happy to follow up with more detail later. But it has to do with how New York State measures our emissions versus a more permissive way of accounting for that that the governor's proposing. Justine, if you have that bill number handy or the bill that you've been talking about with Battery Park City, I'll highlight that for Deborah and our legislative director. So if you have that, I'll jot that down.
I will put it in the chat or
great.
ask Zach to pass it, but thank you. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Of course, thank you. Deborah passed a bill about 2 weeks ago now. It was a bill that would prohibit the leasing of state forests and wildlife management areas for oil and gas production. So there are some current leases in state lands that are allowing for oil production, but when those leases end, they may not be renewed and they can't expand. So hopefully, it also passed in the Senate, and hopefully the governor will sign that. And then more locally, I just want to highlight for you that the Rent Guidelines Board is starting to meet. This week, the first meeting is actually in your district at 22 Reed Street. It looks like they probably won't announce their rent increase recommendations until late April, so we have a few weeks. But they are starting to meet. This Thursday, March 26th is the first one. They're all public meetings, and they're also viewable on the Rent Guidelines Board YouTube channel. And I can put our board report in the chat that has that information. And I think that's it. I'm happy to take any questions. And I do have a board report I can throw in the chat if the chat is enabled.
Throw it in the chat and that would be great, and we will share it online as well, so it's not a problem.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody have any questions for Tracy? Seeing none in the room, seeing none online. Thank you very much, Tracy. We really appreciate it.
Thanks all.
Alrighty. Last call for anybody else from our state electeds before I keep moving on. Perfect. Andrew Chang, you're up.
Hello, Andrew here from Hanborough President's Office. Happy Women's History Month. Happy Eid. Happy early Passover. Happy early Easter.
He's rocking them all.
Happy New Year. What else did I miss? I don't know. Yeah. Thank you to those who attended our events. We had a Black History Month event in February at the Studio Museum Harlem. We had our Borough Convention and inauguration on the 14th of this month at Lincoln Center. There are bags next in the back next to Neda if you want a bag. And
what was that Lincoln Center?
Our Borough Convention and inauguration. We had a Eid event for teens at the New York Public Library this past Friday. Those great events. And then, so in terms of upcoming events, we are having a Women's History Month event this coming Friday. There are flyers on the back table at the Roosevelt House at Hunter College. So this Friday, the 27th, 4 to 6 p.m., Roosevelt House at Hunter College will feature women-owned businesses. We'll have a panel full of women who own their own business. We'll have we'll also have food from women-owned businesses. The deputy president will be there. It's going to be a reception. We also have a Manhattan Cultural Tourism Grants. The deadline is the 30th of March. All cultural institutions are asked to apply. And we have these cards: write a love letter to Manhattan, write a breakup letter to Manhattan. Civil, you talk about affordability, civil rights. If you have the chance, fill out the card. I'll collect them at the end or whenever you're done filling them out. And it's just something you were trying to gather from the community. We had these at the Borough Convention, and the cards are in the back table. And we also have these.
They look like this.
Yeah.
We'll have some in the community board office, so if you're attending a meeting in the next month, you can fill one out and we'll drop them back up here.
Yeah, and we have these know your rights cards, which is multilingual, Chinese, Spanish, English, in the back table as well. So in terms of other things I want to quickly mention, yeah, the borough president, Brad Williams-Siegel, he participated in the Hope Survey a couple weeks ago. He was out from 10 p.m. until 1 a.m. asking anybody who was on the street, hey, do you have a home? That's how it generally works from my understanding. And just to get an accurate count of how many people are homeless out on the streets of New York City. And then he was proud to stand with Mayor Mamdani and the DOT Commissioner Flynn to announce the implementation of Sammy's Law at 1,300 school locations for this year, and to reduce the speed limit to 15 miles per hour within these school zones. And, this was the law that he passed while he was a state elected official. And he's very grateful for the city of New York to implement it on a citywide basis.
Yeah.
I'll just lastly conclude by saying that we are relaunching the volunteer corps program that the previous administration had started. So if you're willing to volunteer with our office or know people who want to volunteer, please have them visit bpbhs.com/volunteer. And that will be my report for this evening. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Andrew? Yep, Rosa, you're in.
What was the homeless count that evening?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
What was the homeless count that evening?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
I can look into it and see when DSS, I guess, I don't know if they start aggregating the data or not from that count.
Thank you.
From 2 weeks ago, yeah. Yeah.
As far as volunteering.
Can you state your name?
Oh, Cody Line.
Thank you, Cody.
As far as volunteering, can college students, like a BMCC?
Yes, yeah, anybody can volunteer, what's, probably be, I'm assuming it'll be, for our summer events, we're out tabling and, or maybe we need help, packing materials for larger events. Yeah, anybody can volunteer. We also have internships as well. So if they want to intern, I think, please send them our way. There's a section on the website for internships. Yeah.
Anybody else? Seeing nobody else in the room and nobody online, thank you very much, Andrew.
Thank you.
Moving to Max online and then Peter. And then I think we're good. And if anybody's roasting, I recommend opening a window in the hallway.
Yes. Yes.
I have not anticipated. You're freezing?
She's freezing. I don't get it. I was.
It's maximized.
Max.
Me for once.
Windows open. All right, everybody, welcome, Max. Max, you ready?
Yep,
I
I'm good
can't
to
hear
go.
you. All right, roll.
You hear me?
Yep.
Cool. Hey, everyone. Max Deutsch from Councilmember Marte's office. So just gonna quickly start with some legislative updates. So earlier this month, the Transportation Committee held a hearing on our bill, Introduction 310, which would require the DOT to permanently install bilingual street signs in Chinatown and replace all missing street signs in Chinatown. This came after reports from a few years ago that the DOT has not been replacing these signs. And so Chinatown has been losing street signs over the years. And additionally, the bill would also allow any council member to request bilingual street signs in their district. And so it kind of a way to both make immigrant neighborhoods more navigable and also just give immigrant communities more ownership over their neighborhood. And so we had a great hearing. A lot of community organizations from within Chinatown testified in support. We also had a lot of immigrant rights and language access groups testifying in support from across the city. So yeah, we look forward to moving this forward. We're already working with DOT to work on some amendments and address their concerns. So again, hoping that, that can move forward pretty quickly. On the budget, participatory budgeting week voting is starting soon. So that's going to be from April 11th to 19th. We'll be sending out our voting dates and times and locations within the next week. And for those who don't know, participatory budgeting, earlier this year, we allowed, people submitted projects in the district they would want funded, like school renovations, playground renovations, new trees. And so now our office has $1 million allocated. And so for that week, anyone who lives in the district, works in the district, spends a lot of time in the district, and is over the age of 11 will be able to come to one of our in-person sites, vote online, vote for what they want funded in the district. And after our voting week, our office allocates $1 million to the winning projects. So more to come on that. And also on the budget, again, we are going through the city budget now. The council member's been in budget hearings basically every day as a member of the finance committee and just on, a lot of other committees. And so, yeah, again, a lot is still unclear of what this final budget is going to look like. And the council is really just working to push back on a lot of the cuts that we've seen from the preliminary budget. As some quick community updates. So we worked with Community Board 1 to create a list of about 15 alternative sites for the 320 Pearl Street Safe Haven And so we have that list. We've sent it to the deputy mayors for Health and Human Services and her staff. They're reviewing it, and so more to come on that. We'll let everyone know when we have an update there. On earlier today, the council member met with representatives from the Parks Department and DOT, specifically about Duane Park and the proposed expansion there. And so again, good news is that while the previous administration was resistant to the Friends of Duane Park's plan to expand the park, this new DOT seems to be open to it, and so they're reviewing it. And so yeah, again, really exciting there. And so we're hoping that they'll actually just do it and accept it. Similarly, at a previous transportation committee hearing this month, the council member kind of pushed DOT publicly on Barnett Newman Triangle to just kind of, put more public pressure on them to, support expanding the triangle and, giving it all the resources it needs. So again, hopefully more to come on that. And I'll end with, I know we got word about how bad traffic conditions have gotten on Hudson Street. Again, we've heard, multiple accidents within a week. And so I can't see if anyone from Tribeca North is there, but we've reached out to the mayor's office. Great.
We're
So, yes,
here.
the mayor's office. We've let them know that you all want the meeting with the deputy mayor for operations, Julia Kirsten. And so, yeah, they told us they're setting that up. They're going to get back to us in the next couple of weeks on next steps. But yeah, again, we should have some good updates on that soon. And yeah, with that, I will take any questions.
What's the date?
Hold on, before we do questions, we have two hands up in the room. Brendan has some questions on your dates, if you can clarify that a little bit more.
Max, when is the budget participatory week?
Yeah, it's going to be from April 11th to 19th.
Thank you.
Okay, Eric, and then Mark.
Yeah, hi, Max. Councilman Marte said he supports having a traffic control device to cross Fulton Street at Cliff Street. Is there any update on that?
Not yet, but yeah, again, DOT has slowly, because we met with the commissioner, which we mentioned last month, and so they've slowly over the past couple of weeks have been sending us updates on each thing that we brought up, and so they haven't gotten to that yet. But again, of the 10 things we sent them, they've again over the past few weeks sent us responses and updates on 3 of them. So yeah, I think I can definitely follow up to see a timeline of when they'll get back to us. But yeah, again, I do think they will get us a response to that within relatively quickly.
Okay, thank you.
Mark Amoruso, you're next.
Hi, with regards to Hudson Street, I'm in North Tribeca. The community board over the years has had numerous resolutions addressing these issues. And so the real solution is, down the line on Hudson Street to have, traffic control agents there at intersections, at Beach, at Hubert. It seems the city's easy solution is to close streets. They close Hubert Street during rush hour, they close Washington Street during rush hour. That's not a solution, that's just a huge inconvenience for locals. And it also reroutes traffic and makes more congestion within, the Tribeca North area, west of Hudson. So, the thing of it was, in the past, the Port Authority said they won't, put, officers, south of Canal because, that's the city's responsibility, and the city would say, well, the traffic is caused by the Port Authority tunnel, so it's their responsibility. So it's just a ridiculous, pissing contest between the two agencies. But honestly, the thing that works is just traffic control agents at rush hour, mitigating the intersections. And that's it. It's just that simple. They always blame it on manpower, which honestly is always a bunch of BS, but that would be the easiest solution. And we've been saying that for years.
Yeah, no, definitely don't disagree at all. Yeah, that was, when we made the request for the meeting, we, made that very clear that, that we need just more traffic enforcement agents. And part of the meeting we asked for is to get, the mayor's office, DOT, NYPD, DOT, Port Authority, together with, all of you all. So yeah, again, we're not stuck in this blaming.
Mark, hold on. Hold on, Mark, hang on. Jared, I'm gonna ask Mark if he'll wait a second, and I'm gonna recognize Jared, because Jared not only alerted the community board when the incidents were happening, sent us the videos of the accidents, but we've been trying to work with Jared, representative of the North Tribeca Association, and we have a letter that we are formatting based on intersections, and as Mark Amoruso noticed, the numerous resolutions we've done, budget requests and other things, I could practically make a novel of its own. So Jared, you go first.
Yeah, the only thing I was gonna say was a positive update in the right direction is that maybe 10 days ago, the DOT installed cameras at Beach, Lake, and Canal to actually study it and use some of their technology to see what's going on, and what they can implement, and what changes they can make. That's a positive step, potentially.
We like positive. Positive is always a great way. But, you know, of course, Max, that's gonna be, us saying positive needs to be robustly positive.
What was the date of that meeting?
We don't have the date yet. Again, yeah, they when the council member spoke to the mayor's office last week, they said they're putting together a response for us within the next couple of weeks and, the next step. So yeah, we'll definitely let you all know once we get, the concrete next steps and updates on that.
Okay, if no one, someone else did have a hand up for Max in the room. Nope. Seeing no one else in the room, seeing no hands online. Max, thank you very much. I think, Peter, you
everyone.
were the last one here from an elected office, right? Because I don't have anybody here from the public advocates, right? Hiding behind a column, nowhere. Fantastic. Peter, you're it.
Thank you. Good evening. Peter Say from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. I have some prosecution updates for you, also some events. First thing, I have some flyers on the table, and I know Susie and Zach will send it out for us. The New York State Attorney General and the Manhattan, Bronx, and Kings County District Attorneys are sponsoring the 41st Annual Crime Victims Vigil. It's on Sunday, April 19th at the West End Catholic Church at 2:00. If you need more information, you can look at the flyers or contact me. I'll get you some more information. The district attorneys will be there in person. Second, just circulate some information I also have on the table. Our office has educational curriculums. We've done one in the past to the Quality of Life Committee. We have training sessions or information sessions on identity stuff, elder abuse. We did one on arrest to disposition to let groups know how the court system works after they've been arrested. And then on the other side, I have the education curriculum. So students, what we have programs for high school students. Unfortunately, they didn't ask me about college students. We don't have it listed here, but this has some summaries. So if you have any further questions, you can ask me. I'd be happy to answer. And just some brief prosecution updates. Recently, conviction of Anthony Rosa for recklessly causing the death of his 2-year-old son, Charlie, who died of acute intoxication from the combination effects of cocaine and fentanyl. He was found guilty of manslaughter in the second degree and aggravated harassment in the second degree. He's expected to be sentenced on March 29th. Sentencing of Clarkson Wilson to 25 years to life in state prison for fatally shooting 25-year-old Monty Armstrong as she walked from her job on East 14th Street in September 2022. He was convicted on all counts, including murder in the second degree and 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon in the second degree. Finally, the conviction of Colby Storr for assaulting, stalking, harassing strangers in a series of anti-female, anti-white, and anti-Semitic incidents. He was found guilty of 2 counts of assault in the third degree as a hate crime, 1 count of stalking in the third degree as a hate crime, and aggravated harassment in the second degree. I don't have a sentencing date yet. Those are my updates. Open to any questions.
Person over here, so we kick the shit out of him.
That is Bob Townley. Thank you so much. Are there any other, anybody who has hands up in the room who has questions for district attorney? Anybody online? Okay, hearing and seeing none. I thank you all very much for coming. I really appreciate it. And with that, we close our elected updates and move on to our district manager report. Zach Farmer. And yeah, slides. Sorry.
So, the Department of City Planning did their webinar. I think some folks got to see it. It is now, it was recorded. This was on the charter amendments, the full charter amendments that passed, related to land use, that passed, this last year. So it is recorded. I sent that around, encourage everyone to, take a look at it, or if you have access, or you can just click on that link out there at the bottom. Next slide. So as you guys know, Lower Manhattan has the highest vacancy rate for retail storefronts in the city at between 21-22%. And Department of Small Businesses did put out a new loan program with reduced rates at 7.5%, which is pretty good for a commercial rate. And I also want to note that in the Land Use Committee, Manhattan Chamber of Commerce will be coming next month to talk about the vacancy, storefront vacancies in Lower Manhattan. Next slide. Meetings for April, some calendar changes because of the short kind of schedule there. So instead of doing this week, or the first and the second, we're kicking it to this Battery Park City on the 6th, Monday the 6th, and Transportation Tuesday the 7th. So kicking it back a week. And also executive is moved to the 23rd, Thursday the 23rd. And waterfront and youth will be joint on the 21st. And Tammy will have more to say about that.
23rd?
And that's it.
23rd is the same night as the police precinct.
Yeah. We're gonna, I know, sorry.
Waterfront and land use, did you say?
Waterfront and youth.
And Ed.
And youth.
Yes,
Okay.
on the 21st.
Next slide.
And transportation is when?
Transportation is the 7th.
Do you refresh the browser?
Full board is the 28th. Yeah.
If not, I can do it from, I can share screen. Give us a sec, so I'll go over, refresh the PowerPoint. And I'll go over the change in meetings. So meeting date changes, one because of the holidays. We don't meet on the first two nights of Passover. Two, Youth and Ed is gonna do a joint meeting with Waterfront Parks and Cultural. We're gonna trial that in April and May and see how that runs. And executive was moved back specifically after executive this month as a request and agreement. EDC was not prepared for the number of questions that were asked about Pier 15 and the feedback that they were given. And understanding that Pier 15 is not the same type of a berthing as, you know, some of the other berths that are managed by Dock NYC, because it's in the historic district. And there are rules and regs, and there used to be community amenities, and all of the questions that come with that were not available. So they're gonna get a new presentation together and more robust information.
We were at that one till 11.
Just for Pier 15, for what will be currently happening. And they will return to us in April, but they did request an additional week. So we said we've pushed executive as a one-time way to work with them, so they can really figure out how they connect with the South Street Seaport Museum, the historic ships, and everything else.
That's the only item on the agenda?
Ideally, I am hopeful. Okay, so where's the chair been?
Can you go back to the calendar for a second?
Yeah, go back to the calendar slide for just a sec, yeah.
Can you explain why you're putting?
I'll get there,
waterfront
I'll get there at the end of my chair. Because we talked about it in executives. Okay, so next. All right, so where's the chair been? It's been, I love the quotes. It's been a really busy month between fresh and then I want to thank Dr. K, who I think was at the meeting for Throne, from the Public Bathroom Working Group. So thank you very much for going. Zach and I did a walkthrough in the Battery with Parks Department, DDC, NPR, Congressman Goldman's office, and Councilmember Marte's office. Yeah. And we had a conversation with City Hall Park, especially after the, into the sidewalk, talking about some of the capital project needs that they have around. So it's been, actually, March is really been, crazy, but a lot of fun. We had a preview meeting with the Port Authority and Memorial Committee of the 93 World Trade Center Memorial. Hopefully they'll come back and more to have with that. And after our youth and ed meeting, the CCHS asked to talk to Patricia and I. That was fun. Doesn't change what we do as an organization. We represent the public, and that is a beautiful thing. We had the peer calls with EDC and Hudson River Park Advisory Council met in March. It was a rather robust meeting. We are going to invite the Battery Park City Authority to come to the Hudson River Park Advisory Council, and they will be hopefully sharing more information on what's happening with the docks, the public moorings that are in between Stuyvesant and Pier 25 that are controlled by and managed through the operators on Pier 25. So hopefully we'll get some information on that. The 18th, I got to attend the opening of the private event space at the Wagner Pavilion called The Classroom. It's a beautiful indoor space if you are looking for a place to host an event. And then straight over to the Chinatown Connections Working Group, which was Working Group 10, they tell me. Hard to imagine. They'll be coming next month or May to come see us about the progress they've made. It's really exciting. For our board was unbelievably robust and long. I recommend you watch it with the subtitles on. So there was a lot to go through. We did the response to the mayor's office. It was really great. And we had the construction meeting for the Northwest Battery Park City Coastal Resiliency and our first initial interviews of land use candidates for our land use urban plan. So next. 9/11 Memorial Museum, they were contacted regarding our community event because at the end of last year, they told us we might not be able to do a community event because it's the 25th anniversary. And my answer was, but we're all still here. All right, so we should hear from the Port Authority and the 1993 Memorial Group. 100 Gold Street has reached out, the lobbyists for that. We should hear from them as well. Our CB interviews continue. On the 26th, there's a community impact plan info session for municipalities. That's by OCM. Really, if you want to understand what's going on with the cannabis rollout, I suggest that you go to these because it's confusing for the average person. But if you're voting on something, you need to know what you can and what you can't ask for by law. So I think that's really important. Chinatown Connections is coming as well next month. And all the photos are, sorry, they came off my camera roll. Next slide. Okay. Okay. So here's where we're up and coming and going. There's tons of stuff going on in the neighborhood, as you can see. Top right is Battery Park City construction, which is marching well along. The bottom right is what we hope for public access at the Battery. And so far, not so much. So the beautiful things that we were shown, National Park Service, which is what it's alluded to, took the entire waterfront and put a 7-foot fence up. So it's either construction or a 7-foot fence with zero public access to the water. So if you want to see the Statue of Liberty, you got to kind of peek through the fence with your camera if you're lucky. On the left is the situation when we left Quality of Life, actually, from the meeting last Wednesday. There was garbage all over City Hall Park. And people were hopping mad. So file your complaints to 311. We can't get rid of the rats unless we get sanitation stuff reported. There we go. Additional meetings and trainings. May training may be in June. Lots of Mays and funds. Okay. April 21st is a joint meeting because Youth and Ed has struggled to keep agendas throughout a year. We've been trying to change up things that have worked back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It's good to be on Youth and Ed if you only have to go to 4 or 5 meetings a year, but it's not fair to the rest of the board who goes to 10 meetings a year or 11 meetings a year. So for the people who are on 2 committees, and if you're unfortunate enough to be like on land, quality of life and licensing, and you're at 2 hugely long meetings a month before you get to full board, we're trying to spread it out to make it so it's not so onerous. So we looked at the opportunities until we have new board members on. We have, go back, please. We have asked and requested that we have people who are highly vested for youth and ed to join us. Because we will have 7 open spots at minimum, right, for this year for the new term coming up. And that is why they are joint together. So everybody.
So just so I understand what you're saying, Tammy, so youth and ed and waterfront will use the same date that youth usually meets on.
Nope, April 21st is the Waterfront Parks and Cultural date in April.
April 21st is
Correct.
the first meeting for that.
Right, it's the
And-
week after.
That's the third Tuesday of the month. And will that always be the
For April and for May until we see what new
third
candidates.
Tuesday? Okay,
Correct.
okay, thank you very much.
The Borough President's Office is putting out training opportunities, please take them.
Question on the youth and ed thing. Given that it's really hard for parents, especially with young children, to commit to 2 nights for committees plus the full board. So that's really 3 nights at the exact hours when they actually get to see their kids. So, is there any possibility that for youth and ed specifically, that we could do a requirement that you, like a single committee requirement versus 2 committee requirements?
No,
That would require a bylaws change.
it's in our
It's not
bylaws
impossible.
and it's not fair. So if I have a dog and I wanna be home with my dog, but I don't have kids, then I should only go to 1 meeting, or I have, elder care or other care.
Yeah.
It's 2 meetings, otherwise you can be a public member. And then you only go to 1 meeting a month.
However, it is not inconceivable.
Yeah.
It would take, you'd probably be able to change the Voting Rights Act easier, but it is not inconceivable
Yeah.
because de Blasio changed the bylaws of the community board
Yeah.
for term limits. It's not inconceivable, and I thought this would be a good, not only for elder care, for parents, that you only have to serve on 1 committee and it's with 50 members.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to take that on, Rosa, I know you could do it. It won't be, but it's not insignificant.
Can you keep going?
Yeah, it's not insignificant, and I believe when Brad shows up here, that would be, it would allow parents and others to have a less, it would encourage membership on the,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So I
what
get
may encourage membership even more is the new law that's up in the state, which talks about virtual participation.
Good.
But even then, it ends up being up to the individual agency.
We still gotta be there. Perfect.
Taking text.
All right. So with that, I'm gonna close my chairman's report with one clear apology. If you have texted me in the last 72 hours, I do not have a telephone at the moment. It's been both enlightening and painful. My phone started causing me problems Saturday night. I went to T-Mobile on Sunday and then it had a heart attack and died. And, my phone, not anybody in T-Mobile. And T-Mobile shipped a new phone. It arrived as I got here. So I'll have a phone tomorrow, but I promise I didn't ignore anybody who sent me a text or called me and it went straight to voicemail. That was not purposeful. So with that, I close my chair report. And nominating committee. We have the nominating committee meeting, announced in February.
Please, sir. I have to withdraw.
She won't be here.
I won't be here. I'll be out of the country.
You won't be here when?
In June.
Whenever we meet,
Okay.
we don't know yet.
Is that the same
All right.
question?
All right, so these are the people who have been nominated for the nominating committee. Pat has now taken herself off the floor. And is there anybody from the floor who would like to put themselves on the nominating committee? Mark?
You're only meeting for 2 months, right?
No, we're meeting once.
And then you meet, okay, so the way it works is nominating committee is constituted in March.
Right.
You meet as often as you need to before the June
Meeting.
election.
Remember the election in June.
Right, and there's a responsibility to meet to make announcements in May, and then announcements in June, the election is in June.
And the meeting is the third.
Lucy?
someone else is gonna do it.
Chances are you're gonna meet no more than twice.
Good.
That's once in May. And maybe another one in the beginning of June, maybe.
So you think once in May and once in June?
Maybe.
I'll,
But once in May,
Yeah.
not in April?
No. I did it, right?
No, okay,
Okay,
good.
so nominations from the floor, Mark self-nominated.
Second.
Second.
Okay, so, right. What happened to my slide? So,
Oh, she has this.
okay, so right now we have 5 people who have volunteered. It's Vera, who I know is not here this evening, but she confirmed in writing to both Alice and I that she is on the nominating committee, celebrating her mom's birthday tonight, so happy birthday, Mom.
Great.
That's
Um,
great.
Susan Cole, Mark Amoruso, Francis Curtis, and Bob Townley. Is there anybody else?
We have 5.
You have 5. Fantastic.
No,
I gotta start somewhere.
Fine.
So,
It's the first time I've ever been elected to anything at the community board.
Very much.
40 years.
well, good. So, are we gonna,
Vote for me.
are we gonna do the,
Yeah, we should vote.
okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna trial a new system today. Surprise is always a surprise. We're trialing a new system for voting today, right? It's really just a yes or no or abstain. We could have asked the chair, have the chair ask the secretary to cast one vote and be done, which is our normal way of doing it, but we decided we're gonna test case
Oh, God.
our voting system for June. So you'll receive. What?
A Dominion voting system.
Right, so Onej, describe out what we're doing.
The QR code with the highlighter on
I
it.
have one over here.
There's 3 on the table, and that's how you'll vote. There'll be a form, quick form, fill it out, your vote. Yep.
So you're gonna get a QR code if you are online.
Online, you'll get.
I can't vote. It says you need access.
It's not gonna work.
No.
Is there an alternative to your?
Yeah,
Right.
this is why we're trying it today.
Yeah, there you go. What's the deal if you're online?
You should get an
Oh, wait,
email.
I got in.
Yeah, it worked.
Now, I just have a little question. If I'm on running for the committee,
Yes,
do I have to vote?
you can, yes.
But I could also not vote,
I don't know why you wouldn't.
because I can't figure it out.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll try. For you, I will do anything.
what-
Tammy.
For online?
And where? I'm sorry, I don't see anything online to vote with.
If you're
Tammy said we
online,
should get an email.
email too.
Thank you.
Everybody got it?
I don't understand. Yes, we can. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, you
All right.
We gotta keep passwords.
All right.
And just for the record, no email has come in.
I vote
I
yes.
heard you, Justine.
Say again?
No, this one. Yellow, only the highlighter one.
Okay, I'm doing it.
Very fast.
5 minutes.
No, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Go to this one. Destination plan.
Ah.
Everybody do it?
Yes.
right.
Online.
I did that when I came in, but it had Pat's name on it. What's supposed to happen? It had Pat's name.
I voted. And my.
All right, I'll vote. Hold on, you vote for Susan. Okay.
Not that complicated.
You vote.
Says,
QR codes.
Yes.
We'll use QR codes every day.
Okay.
Every day is lying then.
Okay, is everybody ready to go?
Setting this up.
Hold on, I'm not.
This will be the same way we're gonna do the voting in June, so please do not come back in June, and say you don't know what you're doing.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do.
No votes.
All right,
One vote.
Bob. Second, Bavakasha. Okay. Because it's, this was a trial. I can leave it open. We don't need to make announcements. And I could also then say, can you vote yes and put one in for all of us?
Yes.
Done. Let's move
Okay,
on.
Finished. Move
Perfect.
on.
Thank you.
Go straight to the office.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So let's move on for committees. Next slide. You're welcome. Thanks, everybody, for test casing this. No, it wasn't painful. We'll know at the end if it was super painful. I'm not sure.
Oh,
that.
Oh, plan 2025.
That's what it was.
Okay, all right. Okay, so with that done, the first precinct community council meeting, if you are attending, will be this Thursday, and they're now held at,
The law school.
the law school at 185 West Broadway. I encourage everybody to attend, please. We love when people go and talk to the police. You got an issue? Let's make sure you go. Next slide.
Or let me know and I'll take it to them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Motion to limit debate is not a debatable one, but it does require a 2/3 vote to limit debate. So I usually don't make everybody go around. I take a census for the room, but keep in mind, we love to be able to debate in committee, but not as largely here. Go ahead.
Be quiet.
Next. Next slide. Awesome. All right, so 9/11 environmental action proposal is the first one, which was for congressional appropriations funding. I don't think that this is controversial. If anybody doesn't mind, I'd like to take the first two together
Can I
with
call the
the
question?
film shoot.
Second.
Okay.
You gotta move.
All right. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, and 4. All right, because I know I'll have questions on the outdoor dining.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll do 1, 2, and 4. Can I do the next slide, please? Just for clarity, on American Heart Association, take a look. The next slide shows you the new route. All right, so, and oops, keep going. Next slide after that. Slide after that.
Oh, my favorite.
And this is the Gilded Age. Really important to understand and look at the
It is.
conversations that we've had for the closed streets. Because again, this is Gilded Age. They run under the same streets that the American Heart Association is running over 2 days earlier. So it's the Bloomberg run on Wednesday, American Heart Association Thursday. Gilded Age starts set up on Friday for a film shoot, Saturday, Sunday, and there we go. Those three together, again, that's number 1, which is 9/11, number 2, American Heart Association, and number 3, the film shoot. 4. Mark, questions?
On the film shoot, are any of those streets have resident side street parking?
I'm not, honestly, I don't know. I'm sure some of them do because they're everywhere. They have base camp breakfast, they have Stone Street, but I.
It's one of the things that the film shoots provide, if they're displacing parking, they can reimburse.
I asked for it.
Residents, if they go.
Mark, said that. Mark, I asked for it.
Is that included in the resolution?
It is.
They said they would. Yep.
Alright. Is there a liaison that has to?
Yes, yes.
Yep.
She was at the meeting. I was there.
Anything else?
It should be a location, though, that's what I mean.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Alice?
One addition that was discussed on the Gilded Age was the possibility of holding a viewing and in support of DCTV. That was at the meeting.
Yes, but she said she couldn't do it because she didn't work for
Right.
HBO. She was only a location manager.
You said she'd look into it, it was a possibility, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we can add that
I
as a
put
request.
possibility, yeah.
Okay, great, no problem, thank you. Anybody else have anything on 1, 2, or 4? With that, we're gonna, it's
Second.
Paul, it's second, was that a second over there?
Yes.
Fantastic. So we're gonna do a vote by affirmation. Are there any in opposition? And if you,
Everyone's cameras on.
oh yeah, if you're online, please make sure your camera's on. If you're in opposition to anything, you must state which one it is by the title of the agenda item. Okay. Hearing and seeing no oppositions, are there any abstentions or recusals? Hearing and seeing none, all 3 pass. All right.
We had a few that came in.
Oh, who missed roll call?
I did.
Yes.
Can
you hear me?
Okay, Charkoudian votes yes on all 3. Whoever was online speaking.
Laura votes yes.
Okay, and
Joyce, yeah.
Goldstein voted yes.
James, yes.
Sarah, yes.
And we're just doing it if we're late. I was on time, but Justine, yes.
Yeah, I was also on time. I didn't hear the roll call.
You guys went silent. Did something happen?
Check your computer.
are you good?
Now I
you
can
hear
hear
now?
you.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
that's
can hear
better.
you, Justine. Have no fears. All right, so we, so that's kind of what it was. It was discussed in licensing and then moved to executive for quorum and finishing. Susan goes first and then Jeff.
I just want to say that everybody who participated in this worked really very hard. And Tammy, the staff, and everybody who was at the meeting really went through this almost page, but I mean, it was a lot. And struggling with this, and I just want you to know, I want to thank everybody, because it was really hard work. The staff, everybody did a
I
great
want to
job.
point out that staff actually had to pull the
Yeah,
legislation.
they did a great job.
Compare the 2 legislations, highlight what was new. We had support from the council member's office, but it was still a lot of work, so thanks. Yes.
It's huge.
All right, so thank you, Susan. Jeff, you're next.
One addition that I think we agreed on at the executive committee was this issue of we don't want this to just be storage in the winter time. And so I have some language to propose to add.
Knock it out. Perfect. Yep.
Everybody wants it hard.
So this would be a bullet point in the therefore be it resolved. And it goes, allowance of year-round roadway cafe structures should not be deemed permission to store unused structures during the off-season on public streets or sidewalks, semicolon. Year-round roadway cafe operation should only be permitted if such structures are are in active use for dining. If they are not used for dining, they should be required to be removed.
Yes.
So we're gonna change this whole whereas, cause it's in there.
No,
Well, not
it's,
exactly.
it's a bullet point in the bottom of therefore be it resolved, and we'll add it. Cause it's not in the therefore be it resolved, if you only read that part, we've missed it, so yeah. So we'll add it to the therefore be it resolved.
Brenda, did you get the language?
You'll send it to me?
I can send it to you.
Can you send it to me?
Yes.
Jess and then Mark.
Good job.
Yeah, so I respect the work that went into this, and I do agree that some of these concerns are well-founded. You might be unsurprised that I'm a little unhappy with this resolution. Like, things like, the inflexibility on Clear Path, not allowing any outdoor dining on a street that's less than 38 feet wide. The requirement.
No, it doesn't say it doesn't allow any. It just says not in the winter.
Okay, right.
Not,
The requirement for environmental reviews, traffic analysis, pedestrian study, increased notice time for community boards. I fear, and I think it's likely that the net effect of these changes would be to overburden our small businesses, overregulate the program virtually out of existence. Because we actually are already at a point where it is so overregulated to the point where it's almost been taken out of existence. Outdoor dining has been an extraordinarily popular and successful program. It supports our small businesses. It has made our streets more enjoyable, more vibrant, and at the cost of doing nothing more than taking away some space for private car storage. I think that we should be doing everything we can, which the city council is trying to do, to expand this program, make it easier for restaurants to participate. Because I think these changes will do the opposite. I will be voting against this, and I urge others to do the same, but I respect the work that's been done, so thank you.
we didn't ask for anything more than a 30-day period for, as with everything like SLA and everything else, because it benefits the operator as well to be able to do a one-stop shop, instead of coming back to the community board and coming back, which we would rather they be able to come once.
Yep, I understand.
Just saying. All right, Mark?
Just, on the therefore be it resolved, slight wordsmith change to make it a little clearer. Stevie wanted to pose into, blah, 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 as written, therefore, let the following changes are made. So it will add the following, eliminate.
Okay,
It sounds a little more succinct.
okay. That, I like that, that's fine.
Can you call the question?
It's been called, is it seconded? Fantastic. Was it seconded?
Yes.
Thank you. So we're gonna try a vote by affirmation.
I think you'll be okay.
Are there any
So you need cameras on.
cameras on? That would be Wendy, Justine, Mariama, Christine, Dominic, Paul. I see Paul, thank you. I noticed her twice.
We have to be specific.
Christine and Mariama, please. All right, so in a vote by affirmation, are there any in opposition?
Coleman, no.
Anybody else?
Lerner, no.
Star, no.
Okay, hearing all the no's online and in the room, are there any abstentions?
Line abstains.
Chang abstains.
I don't want to let them use the
Okay.
sidewalk all year.
Are there any abstentions online?
Ryan and.
Lion, Chang, and Kay abstain. All right. Hearing nope. Hearing no other abstentions and no other in opposition, are there any recusals? Motion passes. Thank you very much, everybody, and thanks for the work that we did. All right, back to my slides. Next. Pier 15, they're coming back. So they're coming back so we can really have a conversation and dialogue and understand all the details. They'll be back next month on the 23rd. Next. We had a great presentation by the drone guys with the Port Authority, and we got to meet the Vice President of Innovation at the Port Authority. Who knew that was even a title? How fun. About the drone. I encourage you to listen to the presentation, hear what they have to say. We are definitely the test pilot because we're the closest kiss point between us and Brooklyn for transit with peers. It's an interesting concept, and I encourage you to listen, to the new pilot that's gonna be moving along. Bob?
In those drones, I saw they were flying from a hospital to here.
No, they're flying from Pier 6 to one of the piers in Brooklyn. The hospital delivers to the pier.
Yeah. What are they delivering? I mean, are they gonna be flying hearts across the river, hazardous material? Did they say what's in those drones?
Yes.
Hey,
They mentioned some.
What?
hey, they mentioned
Supplies.
tape.
So for
A
this first,
signed document.
for this
They
first
just said-
iteration, they're doing like supplies with the expectation that it would scale in the future to be things like potentially parts, et cetera. But for right now, it is literally things like tape, paper clips, any kind of like utility.
Documents.
Documents.
Later on, it'll be toast and things.
No, that's what I mean, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Toes.
I mean, if it helps someone live, but if you're flying a heart over the East River.
Well, they won't be for a while.
Yeah.
Save the bacon
All
for
right, any
tomorrow.
other questions? Hearing and seeing none, next slide. Thank you. We've already reviewed that, so there we go.
What?
Good idea.
Susan, you're up.
So we have a very short agenda, but anybody who is online for, 431 Washington, we're not taking it up today. We will take it up in the April meeting. And so if you've read both of our resolutions, they're very simple. Unless you have any questions, I would take them together.
Call the question. Oh, I can't say that, sorry. I'm there.
Call the question.
Thank you.
Second.
On which one? On all?
of them.
Yeah,
All two women.
Second.
Okay,
All three of them.
so this is a vote by affirmation.
So
Are there any in opposition?
32 years, that's still in place.
But do read the Tribeca one,
Tribeca.
because there's a piece in it that's interesting
Oh,
about the CSRC.
we're in the middle of a vote, but we will make a comment about that one afterwards.
Okay.
Are there, we're in the middle of a vote.
On this one,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask a question, Susan, on that.
Can you wait till after?
Well, it's about this resolution we're about to vote on.
All right, so we'll
Okay.
close the vote and reopen it after you ask your question. Go ahead.
I didn't get, I have to confess, Susan, I did not read this one carefully, but the one on the annual Taste of Tribeca, I know earlier we brought up the possibility of, thanks very much, of having a table, like a community board one table to sort of have activities that allow people to know we exist at the Taste of Tribeca. Is that anything we could add into the resolution if this?
Well, I think it's hard to add in because we didn't ask them. I mean, I think, and we didn't discuss it,
Okay,
so
sorry,
I
I
think
should
we
have
can.
asked.
You can
I
still
think
ask.
you could still ask them,
Yeah.
and if we wanted, I'm sure they would say yes, but we can't do
Before you
it.
ask them, find out who wants
Okay,
to man the
Thanks.
table.
So, back to where we're,
Call the question.
okay.
When is
Vote by-
the Tribeca?
Oh, the same weekend as the film shoot. It's May.
15.
May 17th.
Everything's happening.
May
But
16th.
they're gonna be down there, it'll be all
Yeah.
right.
One will be east, one will be west. Great time to be walking in Lower Manhattan.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Question?
So
Second.
vote by
Second.
affirmation. Is there anybody in opposition? Okay, hearing and seeing none online. Are there any abstentions or recusals?
Do we need a camera?
Cameras on for Laura and for anybody else. Okay, fantastic.
Street activity.
All right, so we can move to the next one. The one thing I do want to tell you about Taste of Tribeca that we heard that we actually need to investigate. We don't understand why. They sell alcohol on site. You have to be in their tented area to do that, in their roped in area. When they did the walkthrough last year, the city attempted to hit them with a $20,000 penalty. And that's especially for a school and for a fundraiser. I mean, that could be the entire fundraiser. So, they negotiated down with the city, but it does seem
They should be
really
charged.
odd to me that fundraisers for public schools and public assets like that should be penalized to that kind of a level. I know there's gotta be a striking balance, but you can't treat a
Because I think
for-profit,
Why would they fine?
They weren't fined, they said, oh, did you know you had to pay a $20,000 application fee because you're selling alcohol on the street? Now,
Not just the alcohol, I mean, I don't know, but Staples charges for literally everything.
which we understand, and for a for-profit company, that's one thing, but I think when you're doing fundraising for public access.
So they charge them $20,000.
Well, no, they reduced it
So they
down to
reduced it, I
5,
think, to 5,000.
but it's still too much.
Should not have
It's-
to pay.
it's a lot of money. I had never paid it. I mean,
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Can we,
Yeah, so I think we are actually gonna see if we can set up a meeting.
yeah,
And I'd like Rosa to help us with that, with SAPO, just to have those kind of conversations.
that's all right, Rosa, you'll have a big mouth.
To safeguard nonprofits.
And,
Yeah, I
and
think
I
it's
have to
wrong.
say that SAPO, like, I remember the parents called me in a panic because they had applied for a permit and were not able to get one until like 24 hours before. And how can anybody plan a whole block party?
Event in a
And,
day.
and they have to put out all this money, you know, to
Yeah.
rent all the
Yeah.
tables and the tents and
So,
everything.
so that's our one follow-up from licensing. Betty?
It can only be that, and Dwayne Park obviously have the same issue.
Yes.
Yes.
No,
Just
they
no,
don't,
it's
because
different.
they're not selling, they're serving, because they're doing a dinner, but they're not selling tickets on site to purchase alcohol. That's where that, you know, the Taste of Tribeca is more like the Taste of the Seaport kind of a thing. Yeah, it's that different style of event. I appreciate where you're going. with that. Alrighty, next,
That's, okay,
Pauline,
so,
what?
yeah, follow this one. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. So I'm gonna do 1 and 2, and Mariana's gonna do 3 and 4. So World Trade Center, you already heard a lot about 5. They promised they'd come back when they have anything to tell us. We were all upset, that, you know, we were all upset that they had nothing to say, but as, Grace Lee said, some other person, Grace Lee said, they promised they'd maintain the same 30%, 1/3 affordable housing. We'll see what happens. Number 2, if you've walked past already, they started putting up their fencing. It's going to be a 5-year project. They are going to be, American Express is the sole tenant in the building, which is why they're able to proceed, because they have a sole tenant who's willing to foot the bills, right? So, they are gonna maintain Smorgasbord for those of you who enjoy that until this last summer. Then after that, they're gonna have to figure out what they're doing with Smorgasbord. They added It's it. Thursday and Friday. All right.
Oh,
It used to be just Friday, but now it's Thursday and Friday.
So it's
Just the season. They're gonna have 100 trucks a day pouring concrete. We discussed that. You guys don't have to worry, it's under my window, what, you know. And, I can't think of what else to tell you about that. The 5-year part is not fun. So, all right. Commercial waste zone. This is for private carting. The city is implementing a program, and this is something that I asked for, started years ago asking for. That if you are a commercial tenant and you have carting, that you ask the people, the other businesses that are on your block to please, you know, try to negotiate with their carting service. So that you had one carting service come per night and you wouldn't have 10 different trucks come and wake you up all through the night. So now the city is actually doing a program where they're going to have, they're going to have 3 options per zone. So you can, as a commercial tenant, you can negotiate with any one of those 3 options per zone. And hopefully you will negotiate, you know, again, that if you all are on one block or in close proximity one another, you'll negotiate with the same carting service so that they come one time and pick up. I think that's all I want to tell you about that. I can't think of anything else. Who's presenting that? That was the city carting. City. All right, Mariama? Mariama? Is she on?
She was.
Is she on? She is.
She must have stepped away.
You want to say something?
Mariama? All right, well, we had a representative from Presbyterian come and talk about community needs assessment. It really didn't apply that much to our community, but it's a city, it's in their catchment area, and it really didn't apply much to us. What else? The 9/11 responder and survivor health funding, that was moved, the actual reso got moved to executive, and she went over that, didn't you?
Yep, we passed.
All right, so that's me.
I have a question, Pat. Is Betty's, I forgot what the exact name of it, bathroom task force?
I'm on that task force.
Is that a subcommittee of?
I'm on the task force.
No, I understand you're on the task force. Is that a subcommittee of the quality of life or what, where does
was
the
separate.
report on what we're talking about for bathrooms in our city, where does that take place, Betty?
The members are from all different communities.
I see.
So we,
There's no report, it's not specifically to do.
Right.
So, but,
so Bob, it was a group
uh,
who got together outside the community boards representing communities.
Started a couple of years ago.
So it's Pat and it was Mimi and Betty and I, and Alice occasionally popped in and out. To really just to be present in that, to have a working group outside. It's not an official working group.
yeah, I understand. And when does
Because
that meet and how do people
We
plug into
don't
that?
have a specific time that we meet. Julie, who's kind of she's become the chair of that, from,
Really, what?
Julie Chu, she's.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
Bob, talk to us afterwards
Okay.
and we can connect you in if you'd like to be part of it and connect you with Julie.
Yeah, it's just an amazing, terrible blight on our city. I
well,
thank you both for trying to work this problem out.
I mean, at least the city is
Next slide.
acknowledging it.
It's terrible,
Yep, that's why we
horrible.
better report together.
Use
Jason,
those vacant
take it away.
storefronts.
Jason.
Oh.
Be in front of me.
No, open. We had two things today.
Oh, boy. Okay, put up the slides.
You got a lot of stuff, jeez.
Okay, so, Howard Hughes is back to make modifications to the envelope of the pier, which was part of a big ULURP, everybody remembers, and as part of the ULURP, you know, Landmarks made all sorts of different criteria for how any changes to this building. The newest tenant is gonna be something called Meow Wolf, which is like an experiential thing. And they're gonna take over quite a bit, and they wanna make a enlargement so they can have like a queuing area. That's this piece. Next slide.
What's it called?
Huh?
What's it called?
Meow Wolf? There's one in Vegas and where's University of Austin? Austin.
And LA.
And LA, and now there will be one here, whether it's here or not, but they want to sign a long lease. They want to take over a lot of space in this otherwise vacant building that had Disney in it. So you can see before and after, right? And you can also see how like this view corridor, which was one of the criteria that it not be blocked, it's not really blocking it. In fact, during the winter, this gets closed in. So it's really even part of the envelope of the pier that we all agreed was to be this size. So next slide. Here it is, kind of just really there for you to see, I guess. It's both existing. It's weird, I don't know why. They look like they're both proposed somehow, but you see there are these windows, there's this kind of extra decoration. This is supposed to be a queuing area for people before they go into the experience. Next slide. So that's okay, then here's this queue. Here's what we're being asked on one level to approve is, are they allowed to take what used to be Momofuku's outside seating area and turn it into an inside space inside the pier? Because remember, when it's winter, this is closed, that's like in the pier, okay? Go next slide. I don't know why I have so much, okay. We see what we're adding? Does everybody see what we're adding to the pier? They're adding, next.
They, not us.
Is this the area where the older people were exercising?
No,
That's the north.
you know where, there's a place like an ice cream shop kind of there called like Mr. Dips.
Yeah.
And then there was a Momofuku place. And there you could eat outside of that place, but it closed a long time ago.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna be an entry to this experience, but they wanna add a queuing area where there was outside seating.
Where the escalator.
Yeah.
Everyone's next to it.
So then the other aspect is, part of the experience is they wanna make these artificial stained glass windows. And that they'll, you know, from the inside, I guess you'll experience one way, and from the outside, you'll see. And it's not so clear in this, I think this is it. However, the proposal is to make it like happen, you know, over a good quarter of, or to a half of this facade, so. Part of what was approved, I'm sure, I didn't dive into it, was all of this lighting and everything was all considered 1,000 times, and they made some rules, and now they wanna break the rules and change the rules, and I blame the rules a little bit, not necessarily Howard Hughes so much anymore, but it just doesn't seem like if you go and wash this whole thing with this new green thing for the next 10 years, and they'll probably have to change whatever the content is, that it really is still the pier that we approve, so, you know, vote like that. Is this one? Did I read it? So, next slide. I think that kind of shows you the two things that are being done, so go back. So that's the pier. Do people have questions about, yeah?
On your resolution, the one thing I'm noticing, I mean, I happen to be there because I was
Yeah.
looking at something else, but you don't mention some of the things that were said in your therefore be it resolved. You say, you asked them just to remain within the boundaries of the existing landmark, but I don't know, maybe you mentioned that many of the committee members did not approve of the scale of the building, the entry building. I'm not saying that.
No, you know,
But
you know
I'm
how
just
I was
saying-
kind of absent for a majority of that?
Oh.
Yeah, so
that-
if I missed
so-
any points like that, please just maybe one more whereas, or two more whereases, but that's just because I wasn't in the room and I don't,
There was
Yeah, I
objection, yeah,
abstained.
well, I don't wanna.
Yeah.
And then.
So-
You can, I do remember.
I do remember, and then the other is that the graphics on the facade were also, so if you go back a
Yeah.
slide, the stained glass was very
Right.
controversial, and, you know, somebody saying, but this, some folks felt.
oh, this, I thought I called it
the
like,
graphics
um,
of this
right.
were considered.
And adding it.
the embellishments or whatever, yeah, okay, so yeah.
They're not major problems at all, but
Okay.
anyway.
I think we could
Say,
add
add
some
those
Right,
too.
so we wrote a nod to, that we didn't like this, that we didn't want to approve this, right? Was that right?
Correct.
However, if people just want to see this building activated and don't really aren't wholeheartedly into this ULURP and all these crazy levers that someone's supposed to understand about how much glass and how much metal and how much this and that, you may just want to vote against this because you want to say, I don't really care. I want this to be activated.
I mean, I think part of it is that it was introduced to the committee and to the board.
That's
that
what I
this
was
was a
saying. They
60,000
took a
square foot
tour,
new-
but not with us.
Yeah.
They didn't show any of us, and they
That's how I
don't
mean.
show us any respect to say,
That's
this is
it.
what we want to do, we're gonna do this. Did you give your opinion before they just were very disrespectful, in addition to many of us not liking what they did. But, and cutting off certain access and, ways that we're supposed to have.
Little community inclusion, they just come and tell us their latest.
In fairness, they came to us as landmarks. thing,
I know,
And they should have probably had a separate meeting to tell us that this pier is being taken,
We never
reinvented
did
as this immersive
worked with
art
them
thing.
like the
And
last
that is
10
a fair
years.
thing, but to this, they were doing what
Well,
they
and
did.
also, this is, by the way, that's right, this is part of the MOU, the modification of use, all sorts of legal documents that we've gone over 1,000 times,
Yeah.
questions, so. Again, I'm kind of myself tired of reliving and litigating that whole thing and looking at an empty pier, so. That's just what I'm saying about me, and not landmarks, not whatever, you guys go.
All right.
I mean, or vote it, yes?
I have a comment about this project. So if the pier is empty, so the pier was designed and there are design guidelines that come with the building that they need to do all the renovations, whatever they want to do within that. If they abide with what is in the guidelines, it'll be okay. Everything will get approved. The issue is that they don't stay within the guidelines. If they come back and they say the pier, the ground floor doesn't work, they should redesign it as a whole and come up with a comprehensive package for.
The leasehold, Howard, the larger person
Yes,
here,
yeah.
got you, okay. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I imagine that's hard to
Good
do,
point.
yes. Tammy,
So I think nobody wants economic sadness in the area. We all want things to be supported, but on the same time, ESPN was a fantastic
no, but
tenant
that's
there.
what we chew up, that's
Hold on.
that's a
We
$100 billion company, it's gone. And
Agreed,
no one
but-
else can afford it.
Stop.
Go on.
Well,
Okay,
Well,
a lot of money. You just said Disney. Disney's one of the biggest companies in the world.
No.
okay.
And now they're gone.
Stop. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Yep.
They have an economic model. They had a tenant who was there, who most people probably never even knew that ESPN was there,
Correct.
right? They had a huge volume of space. They're gone because Disney chose to move to another community board. Fantastic. They built their own building, did their own thing, they moved. This is just the new tenant that they have. I don't know if there was a different tenant who was also a big thing that they could have attracted. Look, they've got the Balloon Museum who's working in the Tin Building. We don't actually know, and to say everything or nothing, I find working in absolutes doesn't actually make progress. We're looking for better, not perfect, right? Meow Wolf could be really interesting. It's experiential. People love it. It may add to the neighborhood, but it needs to be contextual to the historic district. Otherwise, why don't we just mow down the damn historic district, glass the whole thing in and call it a day, right? That's not, and then you lose
We
all
need a time
history.
machine for that, Tammy. We did that. That's what the MOU was. That was-
And therefore, we need to hold the stakeholders from EDC, the South Street Seaport, and SEG to the ULURP, to the things. Meow Wolf can operate inside and do whatever the heck they want, Susan, like before. Susan, I'm gonna separate you and Bob.
Susan,
Okay, so,
Susan,
good
I'm
point,
gonna
Tammy.
separate you and.
They should work within the boundaries.
They just need to work within the
Okay.
boundaries, and if we don't like the exterior boundaries here, they can absolutely meow it all the way on the inside from the minute you walk through the door and just have something a little bit better on the outside. That's my perspective. I mean, we're not saying don't have them, we're saying on the outside, have something that's intriguing but not.
Offensive.
Okay, that wasn't a great spot, right?
No,
That's a
that's
yawn.
like that.
I hear you.
Here we
Okay.
go.
Yeah, okay, so should we take these just separate?
Yes.
Okay?
Call the question.
Okay, so we're gonna call the question.
I'd like to speak before you,
Joe says,
Yes, Joe?
Joe, go.
from the.
Go ahead, Joe.
Well, yes, I'm gathering my thoughts. Initially, before Howard Hughes took over, it was a successful, nice place for people to go to. There was lots of walking space in the open, reasonably priced goods, etc. They came along, paid no attention to the community, got the commissioners to change the rules on landmarking, and they were going to give us all these different community benefits, which they have not done. Now, this thing makes it look like maybe New Orleans or Vegas or whatever. It has no conceptual ideas to the seaport and the historic district that it is. This is a monstrosity, and they have not delivered anything to the community. I have to vote against it. They just don't know what we need down here.
Joe, that
Joe.
means you're voting for the resolution,
You
because the
understand.
resolution was against
Right.
Okay, with the.
Okay.
Yes. I'm
Okay.
voting against this project, which is for the resolution.
Thank you, Joe.
Can I think?
Yeah. Two more comments. I
Yeah.
think we're gonna be good.
1 minute each.
I agree with Joe. I think, I actually just remarked earlier today, going through the seaport, that when I first lived downtown, it was a very vibrant nightlife area for young people to go after work and have a drink.
Yeah.
These sort of kitschy, creative, strange things, they keep trying one thing after another, and nothing seems to work.
I agree.
that drove me out of my mind the day, exact
Seaport
thing.
Entertainment Group and Howard Hughes, are they both involved
No,
or?
it's just Seaport Entertainment Group that found out, and Meow Wolf's obviously their own thing.
All the same board members, don't worry, all same investors. But how are you done?
No.
Right, it's the whole thing. Oh, great, thank you for that, yeah, yeah, they like to state that a lot.
Well, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The company Virgin Square is the controlling shareholder.
Yes.
Correct.
Sure.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna call the question, we're gonna vote on this. If you don't like it, you'll vote yes,
Yes.
and then go whatever way, okay?
Question?
Second.
All in favor? Yeah, right,
We're
let's see.
gonna vote by affirmation.
Go.
We'll do a vote by affirmation, so you don't need to raise your hand.
Thank
Are
you.
there any,
Cameras on.
cameras on if you're online, are there any in opposition, which means you're voting in opposition to the community board position, not approving the design?
Coleman votes no.
Chang votes no.
Yeah, wait, one, you gotta do it slower, you gotta speak louder.
Sorry.
Use my voice. So Coleman,
No.
Chang,
No.
Lion.
Are there any in opposition online? Fantastic. Are there any abstentions?
Always stands.
A little louder.
Kenny abstained.
Foreman abstains. Zelter abstains.
Kuchia abstains.
Thompson abstains.
No, they're voting on just the facade, right? I'm sure it's content. Okay.
Yeah, it's not the content, it's the facade. Yeah. Okay,
That
Any-
seems like we got everything.
I think that's everybody.
We
Motion,
had to do, recuse.
oh, are there any recused? Okay, hearing no recusals, I'm gonna abstain. Okay. Motion
The
passes.
next one should be very easy. It's a modification of a previously approved design, and it's so much better than the previously approved design. The other little tidbit is that it was two taxpayers now. They acquired a lot down here, so they made it a bigger building, but, it's just, more facade. Okay, so this is the proposal. Does everybody know where this is? It's near where Alice lives. Don't give you her exact address. I know it, I didn't know exactly. But, okay,
Hilarious.
I mean, it looks like a building in Soho more than one in Tribeca, but it's almost right on the block away from Soho. So, call the question.
Second.
Okay.
Wait, well, we have to ask if there are any questions. No,
Are there any questions on the neighborhood building?
all right, we're ready.
Hearing and seeing none, it was called, it was seconded, we'll do a vote by affirmation. Okay, are there any in opposition?
Too close to Mo.
And Maruso opposed? Okay, gotcha. Are there any abstentions or opposition online? Look it up a little bit.
All right.
See if people are paying attention. Hearing and seeing none, are there any abstentions in the room? Are there any recusals? Motion passes.
I'm guessing Miriam's not here. Is Christine still here?
Christine Dimick is here, and Mariama, your camera has to
I'm
be
on
on.
camera.
All right. Did I call your name?
I thought you did.
Laura, your camera has to be on. Okay, gotcha.
Are we at the end? No.
All right, we are super close.
All right.
Close if we want to be.
Us.
Jeff, go.
All right. So we had an interesting meeting at the Battery Park City Committee, this month. A long discussion with Eric Mertz from Excel Environmental, who will be, basically his colleague Laura Dodge, will be primarily responsible, but he was ill and couldn't make the meeting, so, Eric participated. As of the date of our meeting, they had not finalized their contract yet with the Battery Park City Authority. Since then, they have. So they were still working out some of the details of precisely the protocols for monitoring and so forth, but he had a pretty good idea
the generalities, and we had a long discussion, regarding that, lots of Q&A, which I think is very, informative. Second item, and so I urge you to watch the YouTube to see all the details. Among the things that we discussed was periodic formal reporting. They will be providing monthly reports. They're monitoring both air and noise. So they will have monthly written reports that we will have here at the community board, and they will appear periodically at the Battery Park City Committee. We haven't worked out the precise schedule yet, but it'll probably be around quarterly. So then the second item, we had our annual spring preview from Battery Park City Parks people about what to expect this coming summer, which is always kind of a happy item on the agenda because it's a preview of spring and you remember what all those parks look like and can look like during the spring and summer. Also a little bit of a sad point because some of those parks won't be what they were as the summer starts. And in fact, on that point, we do have some updates on the scheduling of when things will start. These were announced at the Community Advisory Committee meeting last Friday. But basically, South Cove the work will start within a week or so at the South Cove. So much of the South Cove will be fenced out. The area on the Esplanade directly west of Gateway, that is between Albany and the volleyball courts. That area will be closed off sometime late April, early May. And a segment of that will be closed off for nearly 5 years, 50 months or so for one segment, and the other half will be closed off for a little over 2 years. So it's beginning, folks. Then we had a long discussion of one of my favorite topics, people not cleaning up after their dogs. And there's not a great deal you can do about it, and the problem is certainly by far worse in the winter than it is in the summer. And fortunately, since that meeting, the snow has disappeared, and with it, a lot of the seriousness of the problem has disappeared. But we always have at our meetings the Patrick Murphy, who is the commander of the security force in Battery Park City. And you can only issue, or his people and the peace officer in general, can only issue a ticket to someone who violates a park rule, such as not cleaning up after your dog, if they actually witness it themselves. And what he advised and offered, however, is that if there are known scofflaws, if you see somebody who does it, every day at the same time in the same place, let them know, and they will go out there and hide out, watch them to catch them in the act, and maybe that will discourage them. So if anybody, unfortunately, they don't enforce the parking regulations.
Where are they
So that segued into our security update. Or
Justine has a
update. Justine had a question?
Not even a question, just a comment, because I know, it's talking about dog poop is, it's funny until it's not. And I have a neighbor whose little girl, who's like 4 years old, went outside getting ready to go to a birthday party and goes out of Liberty Court, 200 Rector, into the West Thames where the AstroTurf is, and gets onto the grass and is there with her dad, and she sits down into a pile of poop that ruined her little dress that she was wearing to the party. I mean, it was just a nightmare, and she was 4 years old. So it's really serious for people, and people cleaning up after themselves, staying off the AstroTurf, staying off the grass is really important. And so, it's funny until it's not, that's all. And I appreciate that, my 2 cents.
Yeah, a good point, Justine, and I don't mean to make light of it.
Oh, no, I wasn't
uh,
even, it's just, it is funny when you talk about poop. It's, kind of, I'm not giving you a hard time. I just
Talk
was so
about it.
bothered by that
It's
story.
8:38, let's.
Okay, keep
All right, we had our monthly report also from Nick Bordone of all the comings and goings in Battery Park City. These are published online on Battery Park City Authority website. And of course, you can see the whole thing on our YouTube. And that's it, unless there are questions.
No more questions, thankfully. Sorry, no offense. Let's roll. Next committee, Dr. K. Eric, move over.
These should be pretty straightforward, so let's move forward with this. We have two resolutions. Move to the next slide. The light tour will be on May 3rd. Next, if you have to read the resolution for all the details, there are no real changes from last year. It's really the bottom line for everybody. Next. Yes, and the key tour times, you can see them, but in fact, there's no change there. And there's a CB1 hotline. If you have any complaints in real time, someone will answer the phone. Yeah, and even the same phone number as last year. The one small change, bike rental pickup, they had hoped to relocate it. But anyway, they are. Citywide events evidently told them that they are so inundated with work because of the World Cup and Sail 350. Nobody can really make big changes, like citywide events. But when you see the black and yellow stripes, you'll see that that's parking, but don't get too worked up about it because that was a construction zone last year. So the net effect, there'll be no real change. Okay. So this is straightforward. It seeks approval for the activity permit for Five Borough Bike Tour, which is co-produced by the City of New York, Transportation, and Bike Tour. It's a fundraiser for teaching children and adults how to ride bikes.
Alice?
Yeah, I was surprised because you did mention that you, were, as in previous years, we request that and you've got a lot of things there, but you didn't mention for Barnett Newman, which had partnered or attempted to partner last year. So I'd like to ask that we request that the bike race part, as per last year, with bike race partners with the partner with the Friends of Barnett Newman Triangle on the safe and respectful use of the triangle, as it did last year. And this is in the primary location in the CD1 community with the ceremony and event setup of the bike tour. And with that in mind, and I hope that that's okay, because that's what we did last year.
It wasn't discussed at the meeting, so I'll leave it at that. It can be shortened to what it was last year, because there was, I think there might have been a whereas.
I'd like to specify, okay, so I can quote from last year then, because that's verbatim.
Yeah,
from-
it was not discussed at the meeting, so there's no opinion.
Well, then this isn't accurate because it's not part of the, you didn't include that request from last year. So can we add that in?
What Alice is saying is, it's almost identical to last year's resolution, except we didn't include Barnett Newman. So can we just add Barnett
No,
Newman?
I understand. What I
Yeah.
said was, you can do that. It was not discussed this year, period.
Okay, well.
It's all I'm saying.
So yes, we're gonna add it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Move on.
So to that point, I just wanted to point, Zach, you might be able to follow up, but I don't know if they mentioned to you, but the entire street where they used to set up on Church Street, between Franklin and White is completely torn up. And there is no way anything could possibly land there. So I don't know how that bike tour is maneuvering around the site, and Zach's been helpful. For whatever reason, VDC did not make this announcement to the board, but that whole area is completely blocked off now. There'd be no way.
Supposed to be done by the end of April.
The end of April, I thought you were for
For
6
that.
months. Is that right? Oh,
Well,
this whole street is a cavern right now, so I don't see April, which is a week away, going to.
It was a year out.
Yeah, I think it's a year out. So I would just find out what the.
I thought it was
story is.
rolling.
But you, it's DDC, so you never know.
You can, but they often clean up things temporarily for citywide events. They've done
Yeah.
that from their.
Okay, I'm just saying if the street's long,
Something to note.
But you know what?
15-foot wide, then.
We
Don't
can
just know.
definitely put something in here that, we call on the, to check on the DVC construction project that we will, that we are well aware of.
Yeah.
I could just connect.
Just
the-
connect
the
with-
CL and,
And then let us know, so
Fibro.
with the friends, because if that, then it will be moved
Yeah.
right into the park, so that we would want to know that. Thank you.
Any other questions, Frank?
I just want to make a comment about May. May seems to be a very active month in this game, starting out with the bike tour and then ending with
Oh, it's not ending, we,
the race of.
oh, hang tight, babe, we've got events all through July. Like, what are you talking about?
It's all good stuff.
It's all good, I mean, it's just gonna drive more.
To live in a place that people want.
Exactly.
Same things we have every May, so it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Questions?
I see no questions online.
Call the
Betty,
question.
do you wanna call the question, or you wanna do both
Second.
those together?
However you want to do it.
It's been called, it's been seconded, and so vote by affirmation to support the Five Borough Break Tour. Do I hear anybody in opposition?
As amended, yes.
As amended, of course. Do we hear any in opposition? Thank you, Mr. All right, hearing none in the room, seeing none online, are there any abstentions or recusals? Hearing and seeing none in the room online, motion passes. Fantastic. Let's hit the next one. Getting close.
That's what we just voted.
Oh, I know.
Was to remind you too, the Gotham Park is going to be having a team that rides in the bike tour, so if someone's looking for a group to ride with.
What? No, I don't even know how to ride a bicycle.
Oh, I'll say. I'll make that 6 o'clock.
No, I don't know,
Nice.
All right, next slide.
I would rather.
Yeah, they give lessons.
But if anybody likes to bike, please volunteer and ride for Gotham Park, we'd love that.
The hardest part is going up the bridges.
No, the
All right.
hardest.
Micro Hub on Front Street.
Again, because of the discontent over the first, they did come back, the DOT came back with a different location for the micro hub. So it's in response to our request. Go to the next one. Let's see how, with a map, you can see how close it, well, down at the end, you see a city bike dock.
Oh, go back one. Back one, please.
Look down at the end, you'll see a city bike dock over to the left.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It is going to be next to that, and where that black car is.
Yeah.
That's where the micro hub is going to be. And where the black car is, you can see there's a sign there. This is a not overly used taxi stand. And there is no private parking or anything, it is a taxi stand. So there's no loss of parking at this particular location. And it's close enough that they can service people at the other location. We go to the next. The one thing that is a little different was we moved on from the other objections. There are a bunch of small streets that are within the half-mile to mile radius. We expect mostly half-mile radius, and there are whole parts. Whole parts will be on the sidewalk, not on the street. So you'll see a lot of the stipulations here have to do with the size of the sidewalks. These cars could be.
Yeah.
If we go to the,
Can you come a little closer simply because Bob keeps talking and we can't hear you online?
You're actually not being picked up on the cameras or anything. It's actually being focused on the sides.
Yeah.
Well, that you're not being picked up? Yes.
No, there you go.
now this makes a lot of difference. Anyway, if you look at this and you should have read it, there are a number of things that are really related to the sidewalks that weren't involved in the past.
Much better, Betty, thank you.
Let's, yeah.
Call the question?
Second.
Nope.
Oh, there, Eric has his hand up. Actually asked me for a question before we vote, so even if it's been called in second, he did actually ask me before it's called in second. Eric,
So this proposal is basically giving Amazon a public street. They're getting 80 feet length of curb space, the width of a trailer. So that's 680 square feet. They're gonna pay $5.50 a day for 24/7 access to this public street. Amazon, well, I'm not finished.
and we get nothing.
Why? Let me finish. So basically, we're gonna turn this street into an open warehouse. That's what Amazon's gonna do. And this, Amazon does not need the money. first of all, why are they using this micro hub gimmick as a way for the public to subsidize their operation? If they need space for their carts or e-bikes, that's fine. They should lease or rent their own space. They shouldn't use public streets to subsidize their operation. So this proposal is, they have a 1-year agreement to rent this space for $2,000 a year. But this whole plan is a 3-year, it's a 3-year pilot, which might go permanent. But anyway, so I'm really against this because we should not be giving public space to a private company.
And just a reminder, so everyone gets 1 minute on their comments and questions, especially at this time of night.
I love that. We'll go straight down in order. So Cody, Rosa, Mr. Coleman, Mr. Amoruso. Hit it. 2 minutes apiece.
Okay,
Joe
I
Lerner.
agree with you. Amazon should be
And
paying,
Mr. Lerner's.
Amazon should be paying more for the space, but we do surrender in this city, the 5 boroughs, a great deal of public space and parking to private vehicles who pay nothing sometimes to park. I know it's more expensive down here, which I was screwed on. But, so I don't see more people will benefit from this Amazon, micro hub than will benefit from 2 or 3 parking spots.
See, the problem is that only Amazon can. Yeah.
No, you may not answer them. It's 2 minutes. Thank you for your position. Rosa, you're next.
I agree that they should pay more. On the other hand, I'm really happy that DOT went back and reconsidered from their first proposed location, which was right next to the playground, Imagination Playground. And that, I don't remember the terms of that agreement, but I am much more excited about this location. And the truth is that Amazon for years has, not that this makes it right, but has been using our public sidewalks all over the city as, like I remember they were doing it in front of Washington Market, or that they're doing it probably in part of Newman, and they're probably doing it at a gazillion other places. And they do it. So at least now they're paying something. Yes, they should pay more. I think they should pay a lot more, but this at least is making it official and it doesn't impact other spaces in our.
Thank you, Rosa. Mr.
Yeah,
Coleman.
As Rosa said, this is already happening on our streets. Amazon frankly doesn't really care
Yeah.
if they're use this or not. It's not giving anything to them. This is a public space management tool to get this package sorting off of our streets, which causes congestion. It's a safety issue. So this is not a giveaway. This is just the DOT saying, we have a problem. We need to manage our space better and get trucks off the streets and warehousing off the streets. And maybe we should all buy some less stuff from Amazon.
We've got to, before I get to the next group, Mark, you get your 2 minutes, and then Mr. Lerner and Mr. Chief.
About this
Not-
price?
Mark,
It's not a matter of how much they pay, it's a matter of the use of the space, and the use of public space, like Eric said. They do this all over the city, and they shouldn't be doing this. They make a mess of sidewalks when they're unloading, whatever they do, they should be able to, like every other company, have their, sorting out in order before they make the deliveries. They shouldn't be using public spaces for that. And as far as, private cars take spaces, that's what we pay our taxes for. And the anti-car, Wasabi.
okay, stop, Mark, not appropriate. Joe, you're next.
Amazon rents a space at this garage, and I'm sure they're paying much more per square foot than they're giving to the city of New York. Everyone's gonna love it, Amazon, the Department of Sanitation, and then they're gonna grab more and more spaces. This is totally ridiculous, $2,000 or $5,000. I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Thank you, Joe. Now, Betty, you had your hand up as the chair. If you wanted to say something, it's going to go Betty, Justine, Bob, Jeff, Richard, Alice, and I mean, seriously, people, all I'm going to say is this. You should go to the committee. This is not the first time this has come up. It's the second time. You could have tuned in online. I'm just saying.
I also point to the next to last bullet that actually talks about, we're asking for them to increase the fines for the permanent, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
I just want to point out that the DOT made very clear that the $2,000 was their limitation. They wanted to charge more as well, but it's a temporary, it's a pilot. That's the limit they can do, and they know that does not reflect the value of the curb, and they do not intend to have that once the pilot is over after 3 years. They're in the second year right now.
Given that,
Thank you for the
could you, I know you're not one to really like triggering words, but I think it's being too gentle to say that it greatly undervalues the curb lane. 2,000 for something that's valued at over 60 for what they have. So, I mean, I understand you don't want to put in because, I mean, even if I do the math and it's 6 days a week, not 7, but I think the word greatly is probably not strong enough. I think grossly is the right for the public realm because the public realm benefits every single person in this room. And yes, we shall order less Amazon, go walk and support local business. But I do think that it undervalues the response that people are giving to the value that Amazon is getting.
So you're asking the committee, when we come up for everybody who parks their cars for free, you're based on $60,000?
This is meters spot.
These are not bad.
These are the commercial.
Say.
They don't charge at night and they don't charge on Sundays.
Correct, and so if you figure out the math with just a commercial parking spot, if it was metered, it's a 60 and change. So the question is, it's just the question of 2,000 versus not, and what we're talking about.
Right now it's 0.
Isn't it, it's a taxi.
But aren't you just asking to change the word?
Not as
Yeah, that's all I'm asking. Andrew says, I'm asking to change one word that says greatly to grossly. That's
That's
it.
great, because every month we spend hours
Okay.
on your committee. I mean, there's something that's right.
It's my time. It keeps going back.
Right, it's my way of trying to capture the response on that.
People aren't angry about that. It's the word, but that's not, people are just, have this thing against Amazon. They'll,
I
Of
like
course
that.
they do.
All right, so she's gonna change the wording on to Bob.
Bob,
Okay, first of all, I like Amazon. I order from them all the time. But I agree with, listen, UPS, United Parcel Service, FedEx, United, the post office, all use indoor space to sort and put their, hold on, and to, hold on.
Finish.
No. They all, I go to the UPS store all the time to pick up mailboxes, et cetera, to get my package. This is not right. And I'm gonna vote, but I don't think we have, chance of prayer, but it's just not right. They should use indoor spaces. There's vacant retail space in New York. Let them use retail space, ground floor retail space, sort out the packages, have people come. Why do they gotta do it on the street? Everybody else, UPS, I'll repeat it, UPS, United Parcel Service, they all pay dearly. Go to the one-on-one.
point made. Who was next? Mr. Foreman. Richard was next.
So the street is a public amenity. And the street as a public amenity has value, and the public has to decide how that value is used. We have given it away to private businesses in our restaurant in the streets program, in whatever that's called. The outdoor dining program is given it to private businesses. We give it to private car owners. That's a decision that the city makes on how to use its public resource, but it needs to represent the value that it's giving away. And I think this states that, and I would support that. And if, in fact, at some point in time, the city says, no, this is not a good use of our city space, and it should be, in fact, a park or something else, then the city should revoke that. But right now, I think this is a good use of the space.
Thank you, Richard. All right, Jeff Galloway was next. Sorry, Darrell.
Anything new?
And I think Justine is maybe after me.
Yeah.
I was just simply gonna reemphasize that the resolution does ask that market rate be charged for the thing, if this is ever a problem. I think it solves the problem already.
Thank you. Justine, your hand is down.
My no, my hand is up because I put it down, just quick. I am as outraged as Joe Lerner is about the whole thing, but I think that us asking, I think two things. If this is going to happen no matter what, I think we're going to lose all of our public space. This particular area is not about taking away parking spaces for people who park, in private individuals, because it's not a parking area for private individuals. But I think that at the end of the day, we really need to be collecting what it's worth from Amazon and from private companies. Very big difference between individual people and private companies. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Alice, and then Daron, and then I'm gonna say, I think we're done, because
Okay.
all comments, I haven't heard anything new.
I have a
Right?
question for Betty, and I would just have a slight amendment that you might include the plan of where this is going, as we often do with licensing or other applications, so we know what we're talking about. But, because the question, is this directly in front of, the, largest privately owned public space in New York, which is at Main Lane? Is that the interior public space there? Is that
Yes,
where
it is.
Yeah, I think that's a critical point to just, I'm sorry, I didn't come to the meeting and didn't say it, but when you throw your hands up, it's a major public space that this is now situated in front of, so just to make that point.
Yes.
Okay.
Daron, you have the
Yeah,
last
I'm
comment.
gonna close this, I like what Bob said, it's one thing to help the small businesses, the restaurants, we talked about that over tonight. Quick aside, maybe Serafina isn't quite the small business it used to be, but.
You're right.
But yeah, this, Amazon is not near and out there. Definitely. They can run out.
They could bring spirits.
Yep. Okay, Tricia, is it something that has not been said?
Yes, I think the one point of consideration that got to me, because it's a different layer, is it's a precedent. It's got UPS that pays rent. We have their competition paying rent. And I don't think what's being charged is the same as rent. And I just think it's a bad precedent, and I think employees standing outside is bad for them. I actually talk to them a lot in the winter. It's horrible. So I'm just against the whole idea of
Right.
this. And that's why I'm voting against it.
Call the question.
Second,
Roll call.
You want to roll call this?
Yes.
Second.
Before we.
That's fine.
We're just gonna.
Okay, as you wish.
I'm gonna move quickly.
So
just-
it's been called, keep in mind, it's been called, it's been seconded. We're gonna reverse roll call just to make sure people are listening.
Alright, we ready?
Yeah.
Delta,
Abstain, don't abstain.
you,
No.
Townley,
No.
Thompson, yes. Star. Robinson,
Abstain.
Portia Corey,
No.
Moore,
No. More?
Mensley,
No.
sorry, Meltzer,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Lewinson, Lerner,
No.
Capel,
Keep going.
Kay,
Yes.
Joyce.
my light on now.
What do I have for
Laura, they called
James,
you already.
Right, I know
We
that.
just,
Justine, I got it. We'll come back to her. I see Laura online. Just let Brendan do his job, all right?
Goldstein,
Oh,
Galloway,
Yes.
Froman,
No.
Friedman,
No, Freeman.
Flores,
Flores abstains.
Dimmitt,
oh,
Curtis,
Abstain.
Kuchia,
No.
Corman,
Coleman, yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Cole,
yes.
Charkoudian,
Chartrudian votes no.
Chapman,
No.
Lather.
Chang,
I don't know yet.
No.
Yes, Sale,
Alphabets.
Blank,
Abstains, blank abstains.
Amoruso,
No.
Chang, Star,
Star abstains.
Ooh, that's not pretty.
Okay. We will give all our comments back to DOT. I mean, I understand everybody's feelings on it. I found myself supporting it because I would like to get stuff off the streets. If you think about what we got going in Battery Park City, but I completely understand the outrage that everybody has and knowing that they're now
Can you bring the slides back up? Sorry.
highly advertising, and I do mean highly advertising, have your local business deliver for Amazon does make me
Yes.
a little curious. All right,
Point of
What's the
information.
vote?
yes,
Final vote, please.
yes,
What was the ask?
final vote.
Final vote failed. It was 8-14-6.
So it's 8 said yes, 14 abstained, and 6 said.
No, 14 opposed,
Oh, 14
6
opposed.
abstained.
Ooh.
Just so you know,
Slides for,
just so you guys know, UPS does do this on the street. They do it
Where,
right
where?
outside Echo.
All right. Betty.
What I want people to know is that Amazon has been doing a lot of this low impact stuff in Europe. They're just bringing it to the United States. That's what's missing. We go to the next one. I'm sure you've seen, next slide, please. You start to see Amazon. You'll see a lot of them around with Brooklyn on the right. On the left, you see the one coming over the Brooklyn Bridge.
Welcome.
We already voted on the issue.
Thank you, Joe. I want you to
Welcome.
realize
Joe, quiet. Keep going.
there are separate programs, and I want people to learn what they are so they're not confusing them, because that's my concern as we move forward.
Right.
These are not participating in the curbside micro hubs. This is one in Battery Park City. They deliver, the Amazon goods come to my building every day using these.
Right.
And they've made a change. What they do for this program is they've rented a whole bunch of lots all through Lower Manhattan. And the drivers are told where to go to get their loaded and charged e-bikes. These do not use micro hubs. They're using a whole different system.
Very nice.
And what they told me too is they pick up, you want rentals, Whole Foods, you can return things to Amazon. They use these after they've made the deliveries from the parking lot. They go to Whole Foods, their rented space in the district.
Right.
And they pick up all the returns and take them back for Amazon to be delivered back.
You know what, Betty?
Love that, Jeff.
I think maybe if we can find a customer service, a community outreach person at Amazon to hear kind of where the community sits and feels, that would probably be helpful, because what they're up against in our community are they good actors, they have bad actors, they have some really positive things and some not. And I think coming back to the community to understand and work with people to understand versus what we all hear and hearing the concerns may be more beneficial, because I don't think they're getting past DOT.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also be prepared that a lot of these bikes that you see, when you come to the blue highways coming off Pier 11, you're gonna see more of these. They probably won't be, they won't be Amazon, but you're gonna see more and more of these bikes. And so they're all different programs. We bring more of them to our district. So stay attuned to transportation.
Okay, Netta.
I just want to call out, we still have 6 resolutions that we need to vote on. And they're not all quick, and easy, and it is after 9, so.
Sorry.
And we are at, I think, 28 people, so we can't lose any more folks.
Everybody's here has to be trapped, just so you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Not
Netta.
complicated, not difficult at all, each one of them. So we're gonna go with which 86 Warren Street, which is an BSA application. It's the hotel on Warren Street. They are claiming hardship because of some of the program. Ooh, this is 101 Franklin. So let's stay on this one.
Yeah.
They're claiming hardship because they did not fully build out their program that they were intending to build, because when they started excavation, they could not go as far down as they wanted because of the, no, because of the conditions of the soil that they found, so they had to limit the, basement that they had. So they are asking to add an additional floor, a 12th floor to the building. Having said that, the initial construction caused the neighboring buildings significant amount of damage. They are in lawsuit with their neighbors, and they have been before the committee in December. In December, we told them to go and have your attorneys talk to the neighbors' attorneys and make the neighbors whole before you come back and ask for this variance. That hasn't been done yet, so we are recommending this approval to BSA until they go and make the.
Did they have the soil tested before they started?
You would think, yes.
Right.
You would think.
They issue any done. Yeah.
Okay, all right, hands up, 1 minute, if you got a question, no public commentary.
No, you're recommending disapproval?
Disapproval.
Yes.
Until they satisfy. Brendan.
Motion to limit the debate, 3 minutes, or discussion to 3 minutes.
Second.
Second.
It's a 2/3 thing for motion to limit debate. Everybody kind of there?
Yes.
All right, fantastic.
Cool.
Are there any questions on 86 Warren?
Call the question.
There is.
Where, it sounds like we're gonna take them together.
The BSA hearing is April 13th and 14th. I don't know which day, but that's.
Okay.
All right, so this is a vote by affirmation. Again, if you want to publicly go, we'll share the public information. Assuming it's an affirmation which supports the community for a negative declaration on the BSA application, are there any in opposition?
I'm confused about the,
We're voting against their request to build onto the 12th floor
Until
they make everything right.
okay.
But,
No, that's what it is,
no, we can't, suppose we don't, okay, now just vote against it.
Yes or no?
right? If you want to allow them to build,
No, they shouldn't be allowed to. vote.
okay, there you go. Thank you, Say. Okay.
No, but that,
Okay.
Three cameras.
Cameras on, please, Ms. Starr and Wendy. And so this is, are there any in opposition, abstentions, or recusals?
Cool. Thank you.
Hearing and seeing none, either online or in the room, motion passes unanimously.
Okay, go on.
Next.
101 Franklin, existing pre-war office building has been vacant. It's within C6 2A contextual district. The applicant seeks to convert it to a residential building. They're going to have retail on the ground floor and accessory parking, and they are seeking CPC authorization. So So the main issue, and the main ask is that there is an existing court within the building. The court is not large enough for them to lay out their floor plans with residential units. So they are asking to make this court, which is this one, larger, so they can lay out residential units around the court. So this is the current court, that yellow square. They are making the court in the back larger so they can lay out their floor plates, which results in better units and better layouts for the units that they have laid out. Making the court larger, they lose about 11,000 square feet. And they are adding significantly more to the top of the building. If you look at the diagram, max height allowed for zoning is where the green stops. The existing building, what is currently there, it's already overbuilt. But they are proposing to have a building which is higher than the existing building, which is overbuilt.
is that allowed?
This is allowed.
Okay.
Well, they are, but it's.
Thank
city
you
of
to the
yes.
city of Yes.
Correct. So these are the renderings of the project. The first red line
Everybody gets this also.
is the contextual district max height. Second red line is where the existing building is, and the top of the building, you can see at the top. Another view. That's one issue, which is the bulk of the building. Second issue that that the committee brought up was the activation of the street level. On the right-hand side, they have amenities for residences. On the left-hand side, there's a retail. The darker pink is retail, and the blue where there's a car, it's a parking garage. The committee requested that the retail front be extended where we have the residential amenities, so that front on Church Street is much more activated. Some of the views of the ground floor and the treatment. This last one. And this is the top image is the residential lobby on Franklin. And the bottom image shows the retail and the garage entry on Leonard. So that we had a good conversation with the applicants. They are willing to contribute to a public park, which is around in front of, I forgot the name, it's the Newman Park. Park, which is right in front of the site.
And how much of that will be going toward affordable housing?
So
Zero.
Ah.
We get in the park though.
Oh,
no. We're getting it up. We're getting a one, let's be clear, we're not getting
Anything.
funding in perpetuity for a park. You're getting a one-time donation to a park.
But it already exists, the park.
To the Parks
Yeah,
Department?
No, to the nonprofit that will run it.
And so what is our resolution?
The resolution is disapprove unless
All these followers.
Sorry, disapprove unless
the bulk is revised. The retail on the ground floor on Church is extended towards the north a bit more.
Parking is removed.
Parking is reduced. That's it, then.
You've got
Right.
all the lists in the resolution
The
there
re-
that shows
lists are all
you
in
it's
the
unless these are done.
resolution.
I'm gonna help net in one thing. The
Sure.
community felt that with this giant block on Church Street, that the community should be able to have retail, because there is nothing for the public, there's no affordable housing. They're adding accessory parking, which we said we're a transit-rich location, we don't need that. We would rather you take your amenities, reorganize however you want, and give us retail space that the public, and they said, well, we're gonna light up the retail from the the private amenities from the inside, so it'll shine light on the sidewalk. And so that's where we got down that road of all the things that we wished we could have had. Andrew?
So if I recall the conversation correctly, the answer to the question about them being able to add height to a building that has already exceeded the current zoning was yes, under the city of yes.
Correct.
But
they
that
can-
doesn't come with conditions of affordable housing.
No.
No.
They can claim financial hardship as the building is and go up to 25% increase in the bulk of the building if they can claim this hardship. And the hardship that the applicant is claiming is the court being small and because
Our courtyard's too small. Bessie?
Wait, is the hardship is what? I didn't understand that.
Justine, hold on, we'll get to you in a second. Bessie's first.
Okay. I feel so bad with their courtyard being so small, but, what's the possibility of them obscuring or, blocking sight lines of other buildings?
they have done an environmental assessment review. No negative impact, even though it does cast shadows on the park. during 6 months of the year?
The trees
And this is the building, if I remember correctly, this is the building when they did their environmental impact, they based it on 117 units, I think. And they told us that the pencil to paper ratio did not work for them to add affordable housing. And then when they came to us, they're not 117 units, there's 71 units of luxury, 2-bedroom to 5-bedroom apartments and 1 penthouse.
Sounds like real hardship.
So, if we can't get affordable housing, can we get affordable retail?
Well, that's why we asked for retail on the ground level, because retail is
Affordable
market
retail.
based.
We see what they
So
have
we'd
in
love to be-
windows with their shirt hanging up.
I know. Anybody else have questions about the Jeff?
Yeah, they're gonna put a Ross in there.
No, not that.
I don't understand how, whatever relevant city of yet provision works and what it does. It seems counterintuitive that you have a non-compliant building under the zoning and height, and city of yes lets you start there to add 25%, as opposed to 25% above the zoning limit. Are we sure that's what it says? I mean,
Yes.
shouldn't we tailor our resolution? I mean, shouldn't we cite whatever the requirement is in the city of yes and say they either satisfy or don't satisfy?
City of yes, they increase the number of units or residential conversions that previously you were not allowed to do, right? Which includes this building that previously, before City of Yes, you could not convert this building. They're saying, yes, convert your building. If you have a financial hardship, we will consider giving
I
you.
don't think that's true. You gotta,
Yeah.
under
Actually,
Article 1,
we-
Chapter 5, you can convert this building. Is that true or not? Just please say.
We have the
Yeah.
applicant's attorney.
I'm a representative of the applicant.
Yeah.
for this. That is true. It was able to be converted. The part, if you don't understand.
Go, tell them, please.
The
But you couldn't
hold on,
increase the
hold
height,
on,
right?
for the recording, the chair recognizes the applicant's attorney. Please stand and introduce yourself so it's caught on camera and on record. We're asking you to speak because there is confusion about the land use.
My name is Aaron Collin. I'm an attorney at Fried Frank. I'm a representative of the applicant here. It was able to be converted prior to City of Yes by law. City of Yes, as we all understand, recognizes that people want old office buildings that aren't being used to be converted. If they had a practical difficulty in being converted, which this one did because of the small court and other things, they were able to seek an authorization, this authorization to convert. Without this authorization, this conversion would not be feasible.
And so then where does the extra height fit into that paradigm?
The authorization allows for a 25% increase in either the height of the district or the existing building. Here, the existing building is 209 feet, that'd be 25% on top of that.
And is that independent of the hardship or?
That is in order to accommodate.
It's because of it.
So we are carving out floor area from the court, laying it on top of the building, in addition to zoning deductions which are required in some cases by zoning resolution.
Does that answer your question?
Question?
Almost. Is it automatically 25% as of right if you have any hardship? Or is it up to 25% to whatever is necessary to accommodate the hardship?
Up to 25% for whatever is necessary.
So they could do less, is the answer.
And then
Basically, I think that's what we should say is, and we should articulate that, and I mean, I think that's what the resolution is.
The resolution says, and the resolution says that, yes.
Yeah.
Andrew, you had.
Well, just a point of clarification. Again, I thought I heard you say either 25% above the district, which I guess means current zoning.
Yeah.
Or 25% of the existing building. Is that an either or was it meant to say if the building's below the current district?
the greater
you
of the
could
two.
Go up above 25%, which might take you over the district.
It's the greater of the two.
And that's a great point, because when City of Yes presented this, it was either or when it was presented to the committee, and that's what we voted on.
But that's
But it
not
was
what they
changed
said.
since then to something else. But I have another question. If you guys weren't using DFS, you were not using it, how high could the building go without any provisions of City of Yes?
Without City of Yes, you wouldn't be able to change the bulk of the building above 100% square feet.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay, so are there more questions? This was a tough one. We went back through many of it. Bob?
I have two questions, and one second one might be inappropriate. So just so I'm clear, the proposal is to take 25%, because I saw two lines there for a second, I was a little confused. So the proposal is to take 25%, convert to residential and add 25%. That's pretty much the proposal. And to give $200,000 to the garden next door. Is there any flexibility to add a couple of zeros to the 200,000? It might be an inappropriate question.
We did actually add zeros, didn't we?
We don't dictate how much, we give, how much they're giving. That's not where we kind of get into it. I mean, that could be taken outside, but what we can negotiate on that is super, the part that we have effect, this has no affordable housing.
No, I
This
understand.
is it's the city planning things that we have.
I know, and City of Yes did say they were gonna have a lot of affordable housing. That was part of the reason for City of Yes.
And that's part of the reason why this was a no unless, is
Okay.
because things were not as it was supposed to be.
Okay.
No offense intended for you for the lovely luxury building that you're
No,
building,
it's
but
okay.
we're not getting retail. A majority of retail. We're getting less than 50% of the street front to be retail. So it really is, there's no affordable housing. There's a small amount of retail, but you can see the light as people are working out in their nice building. They're adding parking, which we argue about parking so much in this place that it's hard to imagine why.
Oh,
we would-
it's for the public, it's not
No,
just for the
it's
building.
No, it's private.
Suppose they decide they don't like to see you from the outside, they want shades.
Well, that's kind of like the whole point. All right, so I'm just confirming, just so everybody knows, there's no affordable housing. We said no unless, because of the issues in the contextuality in the 25%. That's where we got to the no unless. You have not spoken yet, so go ahead.
Maybe I missed something. That's the point, is it moot to try to use any affordable housing as a negotiating point, or it's already past that point?
Past that point, they told us flat, there was no opportunity, that the pencils didn't work, right? That's what he said.
Does not work to include affordable housing in this building.
Right.
I'll also note that we did meet with Councilman Marte about this. We came to the $200,000 figure. He now supports the project.
Perfect. Bob,
Great.
I just wanna,
and then back to
this is
Andrew.
definitely off topic, but.
Then
I'm
no.
off top- Wait, no,
Stop,
no,
stop,
no, I'm gonna say it.
Topic?
Well, it's not off topic, but the disparaging of my neighbors, that they are jogging in their luxury house, I'm just not there as far as disparaging people who.
It's not disparaging,
Yeah,
Bob,
but it
it's the
was-
privatization of the street level that we're looking to have activated
No.
on the
It
street.
said as a job, it sounded disparaging to me. And you could do whatever you want with that, but it
I
sounded.
agree with the tone.
Sounded disparaging.
Understood.
Okay, and I don't like to disparage my neighbors if they're
We are all great
homeless.
neighbors.
Understood.
That's kind of Rich, and that's just maybe way out of
Move
left
this
field, but
microphone.
for things like pre-K, do we
Yeah.
consider any type of space in the building instead of retail, if it's large enough, if there's a pre-K need?
I mean, a pre-K center is a retail center unless it's done by the city, right? That's a private operator who can come in. And that's one of the reasons to ask for more street level retail, is to provide a diversity of retail opportunities in the neighborhood. And this has a nice footprint and good transit around it. So, yeah. So again, this is the zoning,
Second.
this is the existing, this is the proposed. Any other slides on this one?
No, that's it.
Okay, all right, so I think that's it for questions.
Call the question.
I called it, it's seconded.
Okay.
Great. Do vote by affirmation. Are there any opposed?
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna call it, Amoruso.
Keep in mind, this is a no unless.
I know.
Mitch,
What you saying?
This is a vote of no unless they do the things we've asked.
I know, it's all.
Mitch,
You need to think about it. We'll come back to you.
I want the things you asked, I'm gonna vote in affordable housing, but it's,
No chance.
I take the hand down.
Okay. Eric?
you,
Eric, you votes no.
what about online?
Hearing and
Oh,
seeing.
whoa.
Lerner,
Lerner votes no.
Thank you, Joe.
But is it a no?
Kuchia
You're welcome.
abstains. Sorry, Kuchia abstains.
Got you. Are there any other abstentions in the room? Hearing and seeing no more abstentions. Are there any recusals?
Blank recuses.
Corman recuses.
Fantastic. Any other recusals? Awesome. Motion passes. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Netta,
65
thank you for the hard work.
Franklin.
This is brutal.
Thanks for being great.
And I'll be seeing you about my hardship.
all right.
Netta,
Yeah, thanks.
65 Franklin. Mixed-use development, Thorough Block on Franklin, Broadway, and Benson Place. It includes transfer of development rights from the landmark 361 Broadway, which we, a few months ago, we reviewed in the landmarks committee. The site is currently empty. It's a vacant lot. It has a small existing building on it that the development would replace. Another view of the vacant lot. There was another one. The proposal is a 24-story building, approximately 106 units, ground floor retail and accessory parking. They're using authorization ZR 7524 for this.
Is that what allows for the height?
Correct. The detailed view of it,
What's the cross street?
it's Broadway, Franklin, and Benson Place.
Broadway Franklin, it's a big lot right now, empty lot.
Empty.
No.
Oh, Broadway and Franklin. Oh, yeah.
Southeast corner.
I pass that lot all the time.
Yes, some buildings have been demolished over the past year.
Broadway and Franklin. It's on the, on the,
Southeast.
take a look, Bob.
The city.
Southeast.
It's up on the.
southeast.
The applicant requests modification to height, the overall height and the street wall. So how tall it is and also the street wall, which is kind of where the building breaks back here.
Is this the same group?
No affordable housing.
It
No,
is
it's
not the same group.
group.
This is a view looking at Franklin, looking at the building. This is the residential entrance. On the right-hand side, you have towards Broadway, which is right-hand side, you have a retail store accessed from Broadway. On the left-hand side of the entrance, you have what looks like a library. It's a residential amenity. And the dark part on the far left is parking. Looking at the Broadway entrance, all of the retail entrances are from Broadway. What's the canopy that is extruding out is an entrance to another retail. So this one, the max height is a bit higher than what we reviewed previously. 155 is max base height here. The applicant is asking for 201. 235 is the max total height that's allowed, and the applicant is asking for 293 9 inches. These were the asks during our committee meeting. Since the committee, the applicant has come back and has agreed to reduce the height of their building. The concern of the committee and the public was the light that neighbors on the other side of Franklin, since it's not a wide street, would get. So bringing down both the street wall and the overall height of the building would help with that. So the dashed line is the partial reduction that the applicant has agreed to bring down the street wall and overall height of the building.
Other mechanical
This-
above that dash line?
Yeah.
Correct, that it's like 30 to
Mechanicals
50
are
feet
always
above.
above the dash lines.
So they're not really reducing to the dash line.
Well, but mechanicals are always set in. So you don't usually see them from the street and they don't cast adverse shades. They are not providing, inclusionary housing, even though they have or are going to purchase certificates, which is another means of using the square footage, that allows them to increase their square footage by buying this certificate. The certificate of inclusionary housing that they are purchasing is within the district. It's on 19 Dutch. That they had additional affordable housing that the applicant has purchased.
So we know how many units?
I do not know.
It's completely separate from this application, so they're unrelated.
So they don't have to say how much they're purchasing?
No.
Let's just give the city away.
They are also, they're also contributing to Barnett Newman Park. We also, during the committee meeting, we got a lot of testimony of neighbors that were for the project. Even though Chris Marte was not in favor of the project by a statement that he read at the beginning of the meeting. So
Say why?
why? Affordable housing.
We have
and having
testimony
decent-
that we can share. He did provide testimony. He spoke during the meeting itself. And a lot of it had to do with the lack of affordable housing. And the additional bumps everywhere without providing, the maximum possible community.
Is this a ULURP or no?
It is not a user.
Doesn't need to be within the rules.
So we are gonna get a lot of these smaller applications, which are not ULURP, but they would require an authorization, a CPC authorization. That would require a community board review. And I think ULURP is gonna be limited to very, very large developments.
Are they the ones that traded airspace with the building across the street?
Correct. Yes, 361 Broadway, which is for maintenance.
Yep. Well, yeah, they are.
So all that said, the committee recognized the changes, which were meaningful, that the applicant had made since their presentation. We recommend approving with condition, focus on refinement of the bulk, improved ground floor activation, and minimizing parking, and addressing the absence of on-site affordable housing. Also, their environmental.
This is a yes
Yes,
with conditions.
Their environmental assessment was not complete, so we have included a bullet or whereas in the resolution that says if the environmental impact study comes back and finds adverse impacts on the environment, the CV1 gets to review the project again.
Is the parking ground level or is it expected to go underground? So I feel like there was issues with that. With like just the building in general. So what I'm getting at is, I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, we wanted to have underground parking, we can't have it. Now it's gonna be ground level and up, and now we need to take that additional airspace.
I do not know if they go down, but do you know if you're going down?
My name is Aaron, by coincidence, I work on this application.
Aaron's getting double.
Well, that's good.
That parking is a combination of below grade, at grade, and a mezzanine above grade. It's an automated.
So what's gonna happen when y'all find out that you can't do that? And then are you gonna come back to us?
Excavation has started, it's been tested, it's possible.
Okay.
Also, Brandon, this site from Broadway slopes down a lot, so they kind of gain a mezzanine or a floor by the time that they're down all the way on Franklin, so I think.
Towards Benson, yeah.
Are they aware of the issues, I think, with the previous builders and developers that were there, and have they addressed those? I guess is the question, and I'm not familiar with all the issues, but I know.
Yes,
that they're-
we've been in constant communication. We've had a couple of members we didn't have them, they testified at the, committee meeting, which a couple of weeks ago. Waterproofing, which was a huge problem with the previous owners, has been completely changed, completely modified and, excuse me, remedied. And, they have a contact number for any problems.
Okay, and how many units would this building be? I forgot, I apologize.
100 and
100.
business.
Eric, did you have a question? Before I call questions? Oh, sorry.
I just want to compliment the committee on doing
Yeah.
the detailed work that you've done here. And I think you've struck a good balance on both of these applications between, favoring development and conversion of empty sites or, non-usable office buildings, but keeping within the spirit of what they're required to do under the relevant regulations.
So,
Favor resolution.
thanks for that. We did bring George James in, because of the complexity of the applications. And hence the reason why, knowing that many more of these are coming up, we're looking to bring a land use person on site, because who knows how long all of us will be here, and we do need to have some experts. Eric, you're next. 2 minutes.
I disagree with the comment about the on-site parking. I mean, it's the building's choice, it's developer's choice. They're anticipating what their residents want. It doesn't affect anybody, else. Why did we have to comment about that?
Because we want more street level retail versus parking garages and parking spaces.
But it'll be partially in the basement. So
It's also street level, so
It's
take
also
a street
street
and
level,
mezzanine.
one
It's street and
Okay.
mezzanine. We're looking for more retail, we're looking for more community benefit. I understand it's not correct me if I'm wrong, it's not a public lot, correct?
Not a public lot, but it would not be located on the retail streetscape, it'd be located in the back of the building.
It's at the Benson
It's on
place at
Benson.
the back.
And what we did suggest, if I remember in the meeting, that we thought it'd be a great place for an Amazon distribution.
Okay. But
No, seriously, we
yeah,
did, because
okay.
instead of having residential parking, we thought that it'd be a great place to have a mini micro hub distribution down there.
Inside.
Inside.
And also, so this parking, there are 2 curb cuts, one on Franklin, one on Benson Place, right? And the operations, it was unclear how the building gets operated. Very likely from Benson Place. What the committee brought up was you need to look at the car traffic and operations of the building, where does the trash come out, where does it go in, where the pickup is. So the recommendation in one of the bullets is that they do a thorough study of how the traffic moves in and how the stuff comes out, move in, move out, operations.
Call the question.
I have a comment.
Yep.
I have to recuse as a member of the Friends Group that has, been mentioned here. I just want to say as precedent, I think the concern about affordability that the council member and this board has mentioned time and time again over a long period of time is important and critical. I just feel like another precedent was set here that I do want to mention that I think is a good direction that we're going in, which is to see developers begin to negotiate with communities in a way that gives back amenities, the public amenities. For example, this park and other things that we all begin to ask for. We see it with the film studio giving money to local groups. I think that's something that, is a plus here. I just wanted to mention and thank.
And that kind of goes back to the street issues that we have. If they're gonna add parking, why not have a micro hub distribution center inside? It's only 2 commercial spots, maybe that could work. And those are the kinds of things that we should be encouraging the new buildings and the new spaces to help the public realm everywhere.
What is so with the last building, we're getting a donation for 200,000 for the park. What are we getting with this building?
How
much?
50,000, but
So
they
wait.
also reduced.
Barnett Newman?
And also something for Finley, I think.
No, I don't
No,
see
just
anything in it. But I actually wanted to ask about that because I thought we had asked for something for Finn.
For Floyd Pond.
And Brooklyn Banks.
No, they didn't. No, they're too far away.
Close enough.
I think we heard back from the council member that park just recently got funded. I think that's why.
Finley?
I think, yeah, that was why.
Finn, but.
Yeah, it got money from the city or somewhere. Yeah.
But expense funding, like for their friends.
We
and
call
stuff.
That I don't know, we can ask Chris. We can go back and ask Chris, but that was the answer that came out in the meeting.
Aaron, sorry. Did the applicant, did you guys meet with Chris Marte on both projects or only 101?
So, we had some communication with his office about setting up a meeting, and have offered that meeting. So if he wants to meet with us, we will be happy to do so.
Got it. Alrighty, I think the question was called.
And second is.
And seconded, so this is a vote by affirmation. Again, are there any opposed?
Mark?
Are there any other opposition in the room?
Eric, you opposes.
Fantastic. Anybody else?
I abstain.
Joe Lerner abstains. Are there any other abstentions?
Justine Kuchia abstains. I just can't stomach voting for not affordable housing. Thank you.
You're welcome, Justine. Thank you.
If you vote no, you oppose, and there's not, and the resolution goes down, then what happens? They can do whatever they want?
Correct.
So I vote, yeah.
Thank you.
Thompson abstains.
Coleman, did you say anything?
No.
Thank you. All right, so, hearing no more, are there any recusals?
Robinson abstains.
Robinson abstains, Corman recuses.
Blanket recuses.
Fantastic. With that, I see no more recusals. Motion passes. Thank you very much. As Ned has put up for the last slide, please remember schedule in the 13th or 14th. And this is for actually the BSA application for the hotel that's coming before the committee. Okay. Next, somebody get me a cup of coffee. Cappuccino. Okay,
Okay.
Trisha, you're up.
I'm gonna start with, do you have slides for Buoyant?
Just one.
Okay, so if you could start with that, Lucy, I think I would need. Good news first.
Next slide.
Love that.
Tom Burton, you guys might remember, and his, partner Ewart, came to our meeting. They are in the process of restoring that historic schooner Shearwater. And they came because they want to offer, while they renovate this, they're gonna be, utilizing this other boat, Clipper City, to begin a harbor camp to help, create some education opportunities, get kids on the water. And, it sounds like a wonder, he has a lot of experience in this area. He's run a sailing camp before. And he has a lot of experience in our neighborhood. So we were in favor of it. We are about to author a letter of support, for this harbor camp. And we are positioning ourselves to be in support of whatever he needs from us in terms of his efforts towards the restoration of Shearwater. We've been forgetting anything. I think that's it. And so they just really came to explain what they're out to do, so we can start moving the word around. They are gonna be offering this, harbor camp this summer. So if anybody is interested, you can reach out to Tom and, for more information on that. And it will be ongoing. And I guess it's gonna take a few years for them to get Shearwater done, but they are committed to doing it. So that was that. And the next thing was that the CEC District 2 came, and they shared some of the things they're working on, most of which were just, procedural, except for the fact that there had been yet another fast tracking act in terms of co-location for the fall of 26 by the Department of Education. They announced it at February 4th at the Lower Manhattan Community Middle School, our very cherished LMC Middle School. And then they announced it again at the CEC meeting a couple weeks later. So they reported on that and we immediately went into the item about LMC. And we had their PTA was there, a couple members of their SLT, and they developed this presentation. LMC, the original principal, Tony McGuire, who is now the district chief superintendent, as some of you might know, he actually proposed to the DOE many years ago before he left,
that he would like to expand the school, from a 6 to 8 to a 6 to 12. We do not have any of that model in Lower Manhattan. It is a very popular model with parents, especially with the ambiguity of this new high school admissions choice system. That's, not working incredibly well yet. But most of all, LMC is, for those who know anything about it, it is a very special school. It's a school that has a tremendous arts program. Their dance and visual arts is standout in Lower Manhattan. They have a spectacular IUP and CTT situation. And to be able to expand that into high school would be pretty phenomenal, given the amount of failures we have going from middle school to high school with that community. And so it came at a time where they were surprised that the DOE didn't offer the space to them when telling Urban Assembly High School for girls they were going to be closing. And they are co-located currently in the LMC space. They are 2 floors below them, LMC and Urban Assembly, or LMC uses some of Urban Assembly's.
Trish, I'm gonna interrupt you only to say that we had 8 people. I think it was a total of 8 come during the public session.
Oh, you did tonight?
Today.
We did, yeah, so they basically all spoke in support of everything that we're doing.
Okay, good.
So you can actually fast forward.
If everybody's familiar with the whole story?
Yes, yeah. They repeated it, so I was like, let me save you.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you hear this. So we have, and I don't know what they mentioned this, because this is important for people who may be interested in the AI STEM school, that we are taking a position in this resolution that is not questioning the merits of the school they want to place here. That is not the point of this. We actually, you'll see in the therefore be it resolved that we have offered to work with the DOE to find another appropriate location for this AI STEM school. If they desperately want to be in our neighborhood, we're here for them, but that this is not the place. This Urban Assembly has 85 kids. This school is chartered for 450. They already share too many important spaces. It's going to be net negative for those schools. So that's what this is about. Does anybody have any questions?
So we run a very robust after-school program. There are almost 80% of the kids play in 14 different sports. We have everything going on there. And to put 450 kids in there where there were in a co-school where there was 80, so obviously that's going to be tremendous hardship for after school too. But that's not what I want. My main point is I want to congratulate Tricia, who worked very hard on this resolution. And then as we were finishing up after an hour of talking about this, she says, I'm going to the PTA, I don't know if you, but I'm going to the PTA meeting tomorrow morning at 8:30. She trucked on over there, she engaged, and I want to congratulate you, Tricia, because it's not easy, and the amount of research she does, the amount of knowledge she did, and I know I'm taking my extra 15 seconds to do it, but she deserves that because it's a standard for community activists doing really great work. So I want to again thank you.
Thank you, Bob. To do this well, you have to put your feet on the ground. There are principles there you're speaking for in a resolution. So I actually went again this morning because we had a walkthrough with the Eric Beedelman, the high school superintendent for New York City. He was there, as was the PEP. This is going to the PEP in the end of April. They put the school online before the PEP approved it, which is actually against procedure. And so I was really happy to see the PEP there, and we have 3 or 4 PEP members who are in favor of the expansion of LMC, which is, of course, nice to see going into this very important vote, which I will also be attending. Yeah. Anybody else?
We're gonna 1-minute questions. That's it, because we gotta get going.
Well, Mark,
1 minute.
and then me.
So,
Just
Mark,
really quick, just correction, in the proposal, you have the AI/STA, STEM, can you spell that out, the acronym, what it means?
STEM, science, tech.
I don't know what it is.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we can.
It does
Yes.
cover
Yes,
Same thing in the third.
Yes.
class, the IEP, so I see spell it out.
yes, yes.
And in the last, therefore be it resolved, to be more precise, the Department of Education work with the community to identify an alternative off-site location and in terms of off-site.
What-
Very last thing.
No, because we don't need to say offsite. We're just saying a location that can fully support of the new, if you want the word another location,
So it doesn't get
another.
confused that it might be within the building.
Define a different
Yeah, I can see
location.
that. I think alternatives
Yeah.
would be called for there.
Yeah, alternative. Thank you, Morton.
Yeah, but I want to say that,
And then we're done.
as a parent of a rising, sixth grader, I
Nope.
really support the PTA on this. I had the privilege of recently touring the school on a school tour for the, middle school. And they're going to get rid of, two other high schools there are high schools at that building. and they're gonna put that-
Morton, is this an important story that's relevant to this topic? That if you're supporting, that's great, but we don't need the background. I'm sorry, but at 9:54, I got other stuff.
We're gonna get kicked out around 10.
Exactly,
And we
so
got
we
two
gotta
more
get-
still.
So.
And I think with
Stop,
reading the
stop,
room.
stop talking. Let's see. Is there anybody who has not said something that is relevant to either the language in this resolution or, something about LMC?
Call the question.
Second.
I'm gonna say, Eric, you're okay, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
I want to say my thing, it's a different perspective. Yeah.
Okay.
Quick.
No.
It's a different, I had my hand up before the
If
call.
it's about whatever the benefits of this other school are, that could be great, and we're happy to have you help support finding a location for it.
I have reservations about the 6 through 12 school. I have.
Don't, then vote against it if you don't want it, but this is what the
Yes.
school and the community and the principal want.
Why not 6 through 9? That was another.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, I'm done.
God bless you.
We called the question.
And it was seconded. It's a vote by affirmation. Okay, are there any opposed to this resolution? Are there any hearing and seeing no,
Our last resolution.
or, no, one more.
Two.
Oh, jeez. I'm telling you, I'm losing my brain. Abstentions or recusals?
Recusals? No.
Hearing and seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Andrew,
Can we just do the resolution?
he's gotta do the first one and about this because
Yes.
everybody, this is,
So given the hour, I'm gonna try and take an hour and
They're
15-minute
together.
conversation,
they're together.
condense it into about a 2 or 3 minute overview, and hopefully you've read the resolution and we can go. So we met the new president of the Battery Conservancy, Paula Reckart. And then we had a presentation by Paula and the COO, Hope Cohen. Basically, they came before us to discuss the current fencing configuration that is used for security and queuing at the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island facility. And from their perspective, the configuration is more than what is required for the queuing and security. And they presented some pictures which shows how the extensive fence line is blocking both view corridors as well as creating a hazardous pathway for foot traffic. And it's also creating a scenario where people who are paying to go on these tours have a much better viewing and overall experience than visitors just to the Battery who are traversing the park itself, right? So here are some of the pictures about the extensive fence line. And I think we have a few other.
We've actually been going through them while you're talking.
Okay, great. And then they walked us through the proposal that they've pulled together, that they have presented to various parties, and they are trying to get our support for that proposal, which again has the objective of reconfiguring how the space is currently being used and fenced off in such a way that it will open up the view corridors and create a safer pathway for visitors. I'll do my best to explain this. And again, I'm taking a very detailed conversation and breaking it down. Happy to answer any questions, but their proposal is anchored around a few things. Having the ferries move closer to where the security is happening, so slips 4 and 3 versus extending it out here. And then during peak hours, have the fencing configuration that's in place, but during off-peak hours, removing the fencing such that it again creates those open corridors and safer passage. And I think they, in their proposal, I think some of the footnotes here, they talk about some of that timing. So I think peak hours may go up till 2 o'clock, I think is what they said, and afterwards they felt you could remove some of that fencing. The challenge they're having is that this was all done unilaterally by a combination of the National Park Service, the US Park Police, and the ferry operator. The fence, the space that the fence is on is actually run by or under the jurisdiction of the city and the Parks and Recreation Department. And there are contracts that Parks has with the operator that gives them some enforcement capacity or capability to really drive this type of proposal forward. The one thing I will say, they organized a walking tour of this. And I believe the participants were Community Board 1, Goldman's office.
Marte's office.
Marte's office was there, Parks and Recreation, the Battery, who wasn't there, National Park Service, US Park Police, and the ferry operator.
They canceled at the last minute. When they saw that everybody was coming, was my basic answer.
So again, that's a consolidated summary of what we had. A lot of details, a lot of information. I tried to capture some of that here in the resolution. So happy to take any questions. Rosa?
On the last sentence, it should say Statue of Liberty, not statute. Spelling error.
Okay, thank you. And also, there are 2 omissions, which I'll give to you, just in the whereas on the second page, the sentence should read, roles and responsibilities associated with, so the word with is missing. And then in the last, therefore be it resolved, the last line, including but not limited to pure A, so not should be included. Alice? Did you hand up?
No, I didn't. I was gonna call it to question.
Second.
Information. Is there anybody opposed to helping the Battery?
Isn't this our last one?
No.
Any abstentions?
Hearing and seeing no one in opposition, are there any opposition or any refusal? Hearing and seeing none, neither online or in the room, motion passes unanimously. Okay, we saved the best for last.
Whole Foods is closed. I have to call Jeff Bezos. Jeff, can you keep it open another half an hour?
Let's go, we want to get out of here.
Let's say that. Free micro hub.
Alice.
No, always the best for last, yeah, and it's a 10-page resolution, which you probably have not had a chance to look at, but it's basically looking at 14 acres of new property right over there on the East River. It's a major, part of our world and a part of the whole city's world, and I hope that you all begin to follow it a little more closely. This is the first time that our community board is opining on the entirety of this. We've already written a resolution on the southern tip of the Battery. This is the rest. It's divided into the geography you see in front of you on that page, which is the ferry hub, the new ferry hub, the Staten Island Ferry, the new park, the Harbor View Park, and the Seaport Piers. There were many people who testified, who've given comments. We did our damnedest to try to include absolutely everything per section. I think if you were interested, the general design principles are looking to really make this, yes, it's a transportation hub, but it's a park. It's an extraordinary opportunity for the city to provide a real place on the East River that not only contends with resiliency, but really offers up open space. And they're giving up 8 acres. It's not vast, but that's what we're getting. 14 acres entirety, 8 open. And we have many, many things that people felt. And thank you so much to all the people from Historic Boats and all sorts of community groups and the Seaport Museum providing testimony, which we will attach with this, which will, I think, show all the powers to be that are involved in the planning of the Five Eyes Seaport Resilience Plan, Climate Resilience Plan. So I could wish I could go as long as Andrew did on the fence. But I'm not going to. It's vast, and I think it's late at night, and I think, if you are questioning it or you want to add something to it, now's the time. But I think we'll have many opportunities to opine on this plan going forward. This is our first shot, and hopefully we've covered sort of basics.
And this represents 2 years' worth of community engagement, just so everybody knows, not one. This is 2 years, and every report that you've all said, uh-oh, Alice, in the last 2 to 3 years, as she sat and patiently went through everything. So,
Yeah, Bob.
Alice,
Mark,
correct me if I'm wrong.
after Bob, and then
The,
Eric.
the plan is to fill in the East River and bring the border of the, land out to the river, past the piers, and fill in all that stuff and create.
We all fill, so that's not quite accurate, but yes, but the idea is we are going out from 90 to 210 feet into the river,
Right,
yes.
so just for my view, I'll vote against this. I've always been opposed to taking away rivers and then putting commercial development in the rivers. We talk about climate change, we talk about rivers are the most important thing to keep flowing. And you can't take rivers away just to build a park or to prevent flooding. There's other ways to do it. I vote against this.
Okay.
Mark,
Agree with you, Bob. Unusual split vote in your committee, 4-2. What was the dissents, reasons for the dissents?
I think that's an error.
Oh, is it? I think at the end what had happened, well, there are a few people left, and at the end of and by the way, this was already reviewed at land use, prior to coming to environmental protection, so a lot of the comments were from land use, which is identified here in the resolution. But I think at the end what happened was there was a discussion of funding and financing that got a little bit, unclear. And we, like tonight, it was a 4-hour meeting, over 4 hours, and everyone was exhausted, and there was some, yeah, and.
Richard can talk to that.
Okay, go ahead, Richard, in a quick way, answer that. That it was controversial at the end.
It was strictly around whether the resolution would object to proceeding with the project unless design changes were accepted. And 4+ hours into the meeting, it was a little confusing as to what we were actually voting for me. And so I decided to just vote no at the time because I didn't know what we were actually possibly objecting to and what the resolution was.
Because it was late
going
like
to
this.
have. Let me just finish. But when this resolution is now presented, as it's written currently, I am in support of it. There is nothing in here that I object to at all.
Thank you, Richard. Eric.
Yeah, I was there all 4 hours, but I left early, but the concern was that in this plan, the only resiliency plan, they expect the residents and businesses of Lower Manhattan to pay for it, unlike all the others that would all be federal. State.
That's a
Yeah, no, I know, but the people who didn't read it or don't have it. So that, I'm glad you guys put that in there. Also, the concern is that the consultants that were there making their plan, it seemed like a pie in the sky. They wanted everything. I mean, they're trying to sell it and that's fine, but they didn't emphasize any cost savings. Like, for example, they want to extend the, FDR tunnel, I mean, the battery tunnel, they want to extend it 100 feet north. I mean, some of these things I think will look through pie in the sky. So I just hope that they eventually curtail the scope of the project to what's really needed, as well as aesthetically pleasing, but also within constraints, because right now it's like $9 billion or even $10 billion this plan.
No, that's all the plans put together.
That's why we said no to West Point.
Before anybody walks out the room, let's roll call this puppy. Is there anybody who has any questions? Cameras on.
My question is, where in here does it mention about the money? Sorry, that Eric raised. 'Cause he raised it.
It's on the funding. There's a whole section under finance, so just.
Yeah, I see it. I just found it. I found it.
Or page 8.
All right, another question? Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Amoruso.
No.
Blank.
Blank, yes.
Chang,
Danielle.
Chapman,
Chapman, yes.
Sarkoudian,
Yes.
Poe,
All votes yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Corman,
Norman, yes.
Kuchia,
Kuchia, yes.
Curtis,
yes.
Flores,
Yeah.
Friedman,
Freeman, yes.
Roman, Galloway,
Galloway, yes.
Joyce,
Joyce, yes.
Kay, Lerner,
I'm abstaining and man cannot control the river's movement. In 5 years, you'll learn the lesson.
Lewison, Lyon,
Line, yes.
Meltzer,
Yes.
Mensley,
Yeah.
Moore,
Or yes.
Pushkari, Robinson,
Robinson, yes.
Star, Thompson, yes. Townley,
Townley, no, and I'd like to do a quorum call after you get all these votes.
Eric,
Yes.
Zelter,
Yeah.
is 24 to 2, so is, 28.
Yeah, have it.
That's
Are you sure there were 28 people here?
Yes.
Yes.
because Laura-
I don't believe that.
And not only that, but quorum is actually 24.
I still don't.
And adjourn?
Oh, meeting is adjourned, 9. Thank you very much.